So this is about like 10 years of our life and millions of dollars of learning, kind of like compacted into about 2 hours.
I landed in West Palm Beach after a failed business in Colombia in a not so desirable situation, crashing with my brother.
How much were you in debt?
Close to 100,000. Your back's against the wall and you're just saying, I need to figure out a way to have max leverage to be able to generate more than what I owe on this debt.
Imagine you opt into someone's funnel and they call you in like the first 5 minutes. They're gonna be like, whoa, the CEO called me himself? That's crazy. They're gonna be so hyped before they even jump on that actual sales call. Our setters make our whole business. If it wasn't for our setters, dude, we would like drop revenue by like 70%.
We hire past closers as CSMs because they have that experience of doing that on calls, and they do that on the back end. So one thing is client experience, client journey. Dude, they're constantly bought in because it's ups and downs. So make sure that they're being led properly, you know, with what they need to do and also what they're going through.
You have to realize, and a lot of people watching this as well, especially if you have a day job, your time is finite. Like your time is limited. What can you do right now that's going to give you these results? Generate demand. Book calls. We get people to show up. All right, how do we close? Your business will always have constraints, but then you have good people who can handle some of those things. Just know of that, your highest leverage activity, what you can do, and just start cranking that thing. All right, welcome back. Today is going to be a little bit of an interesting session here. So this is like a virtual event that we're doing here. We have about 56 of our clients over here on my right. We have them, watching and tuning in virtually. And then we have one of our live clients here, Sebastian, that we're going to be helping out. So currently, Sebastian is he has an Airbnb agency, right? It's a little bit of a different type of model, but it's still an agency. And today we're going to help him go from currently where he's at. He's doing about 10K a month to what are the next steps going to look like to 100K a month, and then beyond to even $1 million a month. What it's going to take, the team structure, the offer, the tech stack, every single thing that we're going to hopefully cover in the next about 2 hours or so. So this is about like 10 years of our life and millions of dollars of learning, kind of like compacted into about 2 hours. So with that being said, Seb, welcome, man. And I also have Mo, who's my brother and also our sales director actually. And we have Christian here as well. And he runs the whole client success team and all our operations. So none of this would be possible with just one person. It takes a full team, and this is just us three. We have about 50 full-time employees as well. Some of them are joining here as well. So, there's a big part of, having good people around you as well. So we're going to talk about hiring, recruiting, managing, leadership, everything. There's nothing that's not going to be discussed, about. And then also we're going to have an opportunity for some of our clients here to ask us some questions as well, either on some of the things that we discussed here or anything in general in regards to your specific business and where you're currently at. So with that being said, Seb, welcome. And if you can give a high level intro of who is Seb, and we'll take it from there.
First off, I want to say thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to be here, to be able to come to you guys with my concerns, my problems, my wants, everything, and you guys be able to help me with that. So just as an overview of who I am a 28-year-old entrepreneur from Florida. I have been in the entrepreneurial space for kind of my entire life, I would say, as many of us entrepreneurs are. Been selling, wallets and this and that since we were kind of kids, always trying to make a buck, but at the same time have fun with the business and scale it. Nowadays, I've grown multiple businesses, but at heart always felt like I was just playing Monopoly in real life, right? So a general intro on me, of 28 years old, entrepreneur. I have a incredible obsession with being the best version of myself, as well as optimizing my life and optimizing the life of others. I love everything in terms of self-development, mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially. I want to be the best version of myself and my highest self. And one of those things is the financial sector. I believe that one of the biggest stresses and anxieties in the world is financial trouble. So I believe I am really making a difference in the world by helping people on the financial side. If I can free them up, they can have all of that time to be able to attack the rest of life and flourish. I have had different businesses that didn't pan out so well. I would say my kind of come up story was my Airbnb portfolio and business. So I started with Airbnb arbitrage. I landed in West Palm Beach after a failed business in Colombia in a not so desirable situation. They're kind of crashing with my brother, in debt, thinking, how am I going to get myself out of this? I end up finding through another podcast, finding the concept of Airbnb arbitrage.
How much were you in debt?
Like close to 100,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
100K in
Yeah.
debt. Okay. We've been 850K in debt. So
Yeah. Shoot. So debt is it's an interesting spot because your back's against the wall and you're just saying, okay, I got to figure this out. And getting a waiter job around the corner is not gonna suffice. I need to figure out a way to have max leverage on the marketplace to be able to generate more than what I owe on this debt, for example.
100%. So let's go a little bit into like your model, right?
Okay.
It's an Airbnb agency. So like a lot of the stuff that we're going to talk about for him is like 97% of the stuff is going to be implemented for pretty much anyone watching this. It's the same principles, the same structure, it's the same exact thing. So don't ever think that, what's his like specific thing? What is it? And especially like even you guys, right? Like every single person here has a specific niche, a specific offer, right? Like that's the idea, is to create one of one, is to create some sort of uniqueness. So don't think that you can't implement this for yourself, because it's like 97% of it is going to be the exact same, right? There's going to be a few small tweaks and stuff that you do for your own specific business, but that's kind of like what we're going to talk about. So with that being said, Seb, if you can go a little bit into kind of like what the offer is, what do you do, and high level, if you can maybe explain in the next like maybe 2 minutes or so.
Okay. So I will also, my business model is a little bit different, or maybe I'm going to shed light a little bit on kind of how I scaled my business and now I teach other people how to do that and how that business model works. So I scaled through what's called Airbnb arbitrage, where my actual portfolio before I got into this agency is I built a portfolio of now around 35 homes, single family, luxury, 3 bedrooms with a pool, etc. in South Florida. I scaled to that by renting other people's properties, furnishing them, and then putting them on Airbnb. And the fuel I got for that was credit. And the power of credit is amazing. And I love it. You can get 0% interest business credit cards to be able to do that. So now, after building the portfolio, brick and mortar, I said, okay, well, the only thing better than doing this in private and scaling up homes would be able to show other people how to do this as well. So I have now brought this to the market. And my agency is essentially helping people do the similar model that I have done. So getting the LLC, getting the 0% interest business funding. I'm working with funding specialists to be able to get $50,000 to $200,000 of 0% interest business credit cards. So you don't take on outside investors. You scale solely yourself. Once you have that funding, and that financial base with the LLC, et cetera, then we go into finding that property, finding that market, finding that property that generates anywhere from $2,000 to around $4,000 in net profit per month, $24,000 to $48,000 per property. And then we physically set it up, online set it up, and I run you through the entire process, and then we attach the automations to it and the tech to it, so it runs on its own, and you can scale on more and more properties without added stress on you, because your operations are tight and your systems are tight.
Awesome. All right, cool. So his fulfillment is slightly different than typically Facebook ads, email marketing, SEO, but it's still fulfillment.
It's marketing and sales on the front end is the exact same.
It's the exact same. Nothing changes. Exactly right. Mm-hmm. So the marketing, the offer creation part, the marketing part, the sales part, nothing is different. It's all the same stuff.
The tech, everything's the same.
The tech is all the same. The only difference you may have is like your fulfillment is a little bit different, which I don't even fully understand, and I don't really even need to. Like if I was in your business, I can just scale it up without even knowing the fulfillment side. Of course, you'd be responsible for that, but I can just take the marketing, sales, and like operations, legal, finance, and just kind of like lock it up, and we can take it from there, right? So any other kind of questions you guys may have?
No, I'm good.
You're good? Cool. Are you guys all clear on what his business model is and everything like that? All good? Pretty self-explanatory, right? It's supposed to be simple. Cool. Awesome. All right, let's get right into it, man. So What can we help you with? I know you have a list of these questions and clients. You guys should like look at some of these questions because these are really, really good questions. We're going to kind of go over some of them and we may like, hot potato from here to there. But overall, the whole general theme of this is going to be, we're going to clear up all the things that he's asked here. So with that being said, Seb, what's like the number one constraint? What are we trying to achieve? What are the goals and what's kind of like holding you back from achieving that?
Okay. So I would say the number one goal for me is being, scaling to multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars per month and doing that in a way that is systematic, not something that where we have the business running us versus us running the business. Mm-hmm. So I guess one of my biggest kind of questions is how I position my offer, especially because I am starting off. I'm starting off like we all start at a certain spot and we don't have maybe all of this influence or whatever it might be to be able to kind of inject into our business and bring in leads, this and that. So I am looking to see from ground zero, how can I scale this for maximum revenue and scalability, and leveraging the one-on-one coaching model.
Okay.
Right.
So I think one of the most important things that you mentioned there, I try to pay attention to the smallest details, right? You talked about influence. Mm-hmm. And this is also like logically speaking, it makes sense. Like, hey man, if I don't have the influence, and I think we had this question like literally yesterday, like one of the clients asked like, hey, I think it was like a specific question in regards to Google, like if someone searched me up or whatever the case is. I think that is a misconception. And we also went through that ourselves, right? That you don't like, that's not very as important as you may think. Mm-hmm. Okay. Not even having a website. Like I had a friend, he was doing $800K a month. He didn't have a website. And again, that's an extreme situation, right? Mm-hmm. But it goes to show you that limiting belief that you may have on like, oh, you need all this influence in order to get the clients, absolutely incorrect. You don't need that. Okay. You need to, number one, first and foremost, you got to be really good at what you do. Like your Airbnb stuff, you have to just be really, really good. Like there's no two ways about it, right? So whatever like you guys are offering as well, like you should, if you're not personally good at it, no problem. And you don't have to personally as well. You at least need to know like the ins and outs of like, how does this work? So that way, everything is based on like congruency, right? You can't sell someone something, you can't fake it. Like you actually have to be good, right? So if you're fulfillment, if you're like, dude, this fulfillment's really good and people really need it in regards to, most, like there's nothing that exists out there in the marketplace. That's a belief that we have. Launch My Agency exists because it's like a franchise-like system. No one can replicate 50 employees. Like you can't. Yeah. You can replicate a course. You can watch this course and just throw up another course, but we're not course creators. Mm-hmm. We have like a full-on team that builds up like logos, websites, that does all these little pieces. So once we know that, once we realize that is our leverage point, that is our strength, we took that and we crafted an offer around that, which now when we put that offer out, there's no one that exists like us. Mm-hmm. Truly, right? Like, we have indirect competitors. So the same thing goes for you, right? I want you to start thinking to yourself, what gives you the edge that no one else can do? Mm-hmm. And you got to like hold that. Don't like the biggest thing is most people, what they do is they're just looking to like create an offer. They're just trying to copy someone. Right. But a lot of that is like, especially like how we teach in the curriculum here, worksheets. Again, it sounds boring, but it's like pretty important because it gives you the skill sets, it gives you the passion and the mission and the vision that you have personally for yourself. You put it on paper and now you have a different perspective like, oh, okay, like this is, I'm so good or like I'm better than most average people in this specific area. Then they don't even know.
Optimize this and put this into my own business.
Exactly. And if you don't write it down, you won't even know it.
Yeah.
Right. And you're just kind of like trying to operate. You're trying to like, it's all cloudy. You don't know what to do. So it's like, that's why take the time to like think and like write it all out. What is, as Sebastian, what's going to give you the most amount of leverage in every area in this specific model or like the Airbnb side? Mm-hmm. You write that down. And now what you do is then you start doing some market research, right? What are other people doing? What are they doing, right? Like your so-called competitors. I don't believe in any competitors. I don't think that there's any such thing like that. Right. Yeah. But that only comes from like knowing the market inside out. You need to know their offers better than their CEOs know it themselves. Yeah. And how you do that, I'll tell you, very simple. If you're trying to make 100K or $1 million a month, 90% of these people, these CEOs, they're just taking the money, calling it a day. They're not as interested in their model. That's why like clients, like we get so many clients all the time. They're like, man, I've just been burned by this course and stuff. Why? Because you're just a number, right? Don't ever do that to people. And the only way you're able to achieve that is by like, you have to work and you have to hustle and grind, right? So like hop on these calls and you hop on the setter call with your so-called competitor, you hop on the closing call and you go through the email. So like you're looking at every single thing.
It's like market research. You're looking at what's working for this different guy and like why is this offer crushing and why isn't my offer in like what's the difference between my offer and this guy's offer? Right? So like I would literally do the market research from like jumping on the setter call, acting as a prospect, jumping on the closer call, acting as a prospect, kind of see like how it works. And I've actually even seen some people pay the competitor just to kind of see what happens. But yeah, it's a border.
It's whatever you want to do, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's up to you, right? But the idea is to know your competitors inside and out. Quick story. Read a lot of books, but do you read a lot of books?
I read a lot.
Okay,
of books.
very good, amazing. Have you read? Have you guys ever read Made in America by Sam Walton? Has anyone read that? You've read it? Have you? Okay, it's the story of Sam Walton, the founder of Walmart. Look at how humble this guy was. He gets his team gets a phone call like, oh, this guy's in jail in Brazil. And everyone's like, what's this guy doing in Brazil in jail? Like, what happened? Turns out he was a pilot too. So he took a flight to Brazil because he met people that had like a little supermarket at that time. He went there just to see what he could learn from them. And by the way, at this point, he was a multimillionaire for sure. I don't know how many stores he had, but he had like, I think he had like dozens, if not maybe hundreds of stores at this time already. And actually, he might have been a billionaire. So I can't fully remember the story. It's been like 8 years since I last read it. But basically, he's in Brazil and he was measuring he had the
aisle, how long the aisle was.
How long the aisle was in a Brazilian supermarket that, hey, maybe there's something these people know that I don't know of. Yeah. So the police said, like the store people called the police and they were like, we have this crazy guy who's like measuring these aisles. We put him in jail. Look at the level of humbleness. Over here, we have people make like 5K, 10K a month. Oh, they think they've made it. Yeah. Right? Don't ever let that get to your head. Ever. Yeah. Right? That's like...
And to interject on that, one, I have done those things. I have done the things in terms of researching the different offers, my competitors who are actually now my friends. And one of the reasons why I did that is because a lot of the times in the beginning, we don't believe that we can do it, right? Or we think that we see different brands, different companies, and we think that they are so far different from ourselves and that they operate so incredibly. They're like, it's basically we're competing against Apple.
They're untouchable.
Untouchable.
But they're not.
The second you get inside of these businesses, you realize they're no smarter than you. They are no more capable than you are. And it really took me having to build my esteem by ended up investing in my competitors' offers and befriending them too. And once on the inside, realizing, this is not all that. They're leaving out a lot of this knowledge that I already know because I've scaled my business. You realize they're no better than you. And on the inside, there's room for improvement because each of us is different. And what really I feel separates me from a lot of my other competitors is one, I've spent the past 5 years building my business up to 7 figures plus. And I'm not motivated necessarily by the money itself, like a lot of these other people in the space, because I have money coming from my Airbnb business. I have 35 homes that are paying me out, per home. It's not about the money so much as I love personal development and helping people financially so I can free them up too. So, and I just love business and I love how it works, and it's Legos, Monopoly, whatever it might be. So, I've seen on the inside of them. I know what I would have personally to offer is all of the knowledge that I have accumulated through failures and this and that, but also the mindset aspect. I believe the center of all business, it just hinges on the level of personal development of what we believe for ourselves is even possible. So I am currently actually in the process of like developing a mindset part that comes before even my actual instruction and education part.
I think that's very, very important, right? Because I think a lot of your clients are going to be people who are 9-to-5 employees, corporate workers. And when they come on to like your offer, they like a lot of times they're just expecting to like have you tell them exactly what to do. It's kind of like, day job, but it's really not. because now they're the business owner, right? Like you guys all here, you're business owners, and like taking that level of responsibility and accountability is everything. Right. So it's like that. I agree. Like, I think that having that mindset module, maybe Christian, you want to touch on like our module 0. I think we kind of cover that, right? Like the first base of like what we actually do when someone comes into our onboarding process, how do we treat them?
Yeah, we have 2 modules that kind of set the frame for that. Module 0 is the one that sets the frame for what the offer, what the program is, what they can expect. I mean, honestly, when you think about it, like we are problem solvers. That's really what we are as entrepreneurs. You know, whenever there's a problem that comes up, there's no money, or there's a job that needs to be done, I need to hire somebody, like that's all we do is we problem solve. And then eventually you get to a point where you can be a true leader and executive to then properly read numbers and, you know, do things that way. But so module 0 lays out like, what can you expect here? Like very clearly, like here's what we're going to do. Here's what you're going to do. Here's what we have for you. Here's how you can utilize it. And then module 1 kind of goes into kind of that level of like problem solving, you know, kind of setting that level field of like logic with the emotional side, because entrepreneurship is not easy. You know, I think if you get a room full of people and you ask them, okay, raise your hand if you thought entrepreneurship would be easy, no one's going to raise their hand. Okay, now raise your hand if you thought it was going to be hard. Everybody raise their hands like, welcome to hard. This is what it feels like, you know. And we ask for it. We don't like it. You know, it's just like going to the gym and getting mad that you're sore the next day. It's like, you wanted this. You want to get healthy, right? It's like, so it's just part of it. But yeah, it's kind of how we structure our module 0, module 1. And module 0, again, is very logical. It's like, here's exactly the roadmap. Here's how we did our own business. Here's what you can expect in the curriculum, our team, even Slack. Here's how you can use Slack, because we've got a lot of stuff in there that optimized for clients. And then module 1 is more like, this is what entrepreneurship it kind of is. And then we jump right into the foundations.
Yeah, maybe we can talk more on the fulfillment side. You want to do that? Sure. Okay, so think about it from this perspective, right? What Christian said is absolutely spot on, and you will eventually start to like better and better your what do you call your fulfillment as well, right? As you go along, the more team members you have, you get better and better, right? But high level, here's the thing: when a client comes on, they've invested XYZ dollars. Their first thing in their head is like, was that a right decision? Buyer's remorse kicks in. Yeah. Everyone is completely normal, right? Like I make an investment, I'm like, I don't know if that was right. It's just a natural thing.
There's 3 rules of sales. The first one's like, how do I get this person to actually like become a client? The second was like, how do I get this person to not ask for a refund? And the third one, which is the most important, how do I get this person to pay me every single month? So like kind of, you can pivot off of that too.
Exactly. And like, it's like, and the only way they would want to upgrade or they would want to stay with you is if they're getting the results that they came in on from the beginning. Does that make sense? Yeah. So here's the thing. And here's the biggest problem that I have with like coaching business and all these things is like they're really, really good at branding, marketing, and then that's it. Like they're just like collect the cash and call it a day. And it's like as a client, and we've been through these things before. We're like, I mean, I just invested like 10 grand. Like, am I not gonna get an onboarding call? Right? So like we're giving you all these tools, but just make sure you take care of people, because that's the number one thing. We don't want to, have you go out, because this stuff is powerful, but you're gonna don't hurt people basically, right? Yeah. So the idea is you want to think backwards, right? So fulfillment is they invested XYZ money. How can you put this money back into their pockets the fastest, quickest way possible, in a realm of under promising and over delivering, right? So one of the things that we do is we have our clients, for example, who come in, they may not even have a niche selected, they don't even have a full-on offer, they don't have their marketing set up. And like we're coming in, we're building a whole entire business for them, which is insane, right? Like it takes people years and years to build a business up that we're able to do in 90 days.
Oh, we had somebody tell us it took them 2 years to pick a niche.
Yeah.
An industry to work
exactly. with. It took someone 2 years to pick a niche. So we're just coming in, we're just like, let's go through this quick, as fast as possible, but without like rushing it, right? Because you don't want to rush things either. It's kind of like building a building and you're just like, you don't want to, the foundation is very important as well, right? Yeah. But the idea is they invested XYZ money. How can you as the business owner, how can you put this money back into their pocket as fast as possible? So now that whole thing becomes free for them. And what's going to happen? They're going to love you, man. They're going to be like, I get all this knowledge and all these tools and resources and accesses for basically free. And these are skills that they're learning for life, right? So that value of like the 10K, for example, they paid you, it's not like, it's nowhere near the value that they're getting. Like it's worth hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars if they choose to activate it properly, right? Like now it takes both people, right? It takes you as well as the client to show up and say, hey, we're going to shake hands and like really build this thing together. Yeah. Right? Like if the client comes in and says, hey, I'm going on vacation for 3 weeks, and you're like, then it's not on you, right? So it's like, that level of, you got to keep them accountable as well, right? But that's kind of the idea. So for you, how you start thinking on quick wins for them is, I'm not sure what that's going to be for you, but you need to start thinking of what is the least amount of input someone can put in to make back like whatever that is that you charge, 5K, 10K, 15. What is like your pricing model actually?
Yeah. So mine is currently at 7,800. I know I need to kind of be jumping it up because you guys can even correct me on this. And I have I'm over delivering. I think over delivering in the sense where it's 7,800 one-on-one calls for an entire year, unlimited unlimited support on Slack.
Yeah.
It's like all of these things. So I am coming from this position where I wanted to overgive, and I believe in that too. I've been burned through certain programs and this and that, and I believe in that and been shown that you can do this right. And I've been through multiple communities and mentorships, etc., that are great, and the time to value is incredible. So even what I do on, like, for example, the sales calls, I am on the sales call, I am collecting payment, but I'm also setting up our first onboarding call on that call, telling them to check their schedule as well within the first couple days. So one, they have a commitment, so they feel safer in, paying, but two, they also have time to value where they're not going to go on vacation or whatever it is. And I'm able to get them on a call that's incredibly personalized, one-on-one, understand their exact situation and all of the things that we can do in their roadmap for basically the next immediate 90 days. And getting them those quick wins. For example, one of them was the funding. So getting them a 0% interest business credit card. So optimizing their credit, getting them that credit card. They're getting wins along the road to be able to get them into that.
It's the small things, right? It doesn't even have to be major things, but it's like someone feeling like, oh, they're making progress. Mm-hmm. That is very, very important. I love that, right? You book a sales call, you book an onboarding call from the sales call. Mm-hmm. And that's what people want. They want to feel like, hey man, I just invested 7,800. That's a lot of money. It's, people can buy cars with that. Yeah. What am I getting right away, right? It's bam, fam, book a meeting from a meeting. So that's really, really good what you're doing. Mm-hmm. Another thing that we do, maybe Christian, you want to touch on how fast we move emails, Slack access, all that?
Yeah, but before we even do into that, and hopefully the clients can hear me because this is really important. We had this question earlier this week. So what you just talked about, which is the value of the 7,800 that you charge, and you just talked about the things that you do, like the Slack and the year long, for sure you should charge more, but it's bigger than that, right? It's like, what is the value of what you do bring into the client? So for us, for example, a lot of times our clients are scared of charging 3K, 5K a month because they feel like it's too high. But it's like, if you think about a chiropractor, I don't know if anybody here knows, when you go to a chiropractor, how much do they charge you? You might not even know because you have insurance. I remember the first time that I saw a receipt, it was like hundreds of dollars just for one visit. And I was going 4 times a month. So they're getting thousands of dollars from one client per month, you know what I mean? So if you charge them 3K, but you can land them at least 3 patients, dude, you've already made their money back and more, So that's kind of also what you want to be able to provide to your clients. It's not just here's all the things I'm going to do, XYZ, logisticals, but also what is the outcome of that going to provide, right? Again, if you can get one real estate agent, one home to sell, if it's $50,000 commission, and you're charging them 3K a month, dude, of course. I would think you're kind of dumb not to give me 3K a month to give you 50K in clients, So I think that's super important. But what we're kind of talking about too is the speed of kind of onboarding. So a lot of people have been burned in the past. And I think what's really important is making people feel secure in their investment. So I think that's really great. We typically book our onboarding calls as best as we can at between 24 to 48 hours. And then even we have some automations and workflows that our amazing team has been able to put together, where as soon as someone comes in to our world, there's a Slack channel created, you get access to everything. So you're physically getting what you purchased in terms of
also the videos from the team.
And I was about to say that. So as soon as somebody joins a Slack channel, they can see our entire team is there. Because like Zarar said, there's literally companies out there that don't do an onboarding call. They don't even call you for a week. Yeah. It's what's going on? You can see there's real people here. We do real stuff. You get access. Yeah. We mean what we say and we move fast, right? One of our core values is move fast, but don't rush.
Yeah.
So we make sure we do that.
Another thing on that is that while I'm on the call from a sales perspective, I'm going to book their onboarding meeting and I'm sending them all the resources so I can clear up all the questions that they have. So buyer's remorse is not even a thing. It never happens because they're seeing everything while I'm on the call with them. Any questions, I'm with them. So after you even collect payment, I'm with them for the next 20 to 30 minutes. Any questions, any concerns, really trying to reassure them. But yeah.
Because again, it's go ahead.
I was going to say, I think speed kills, right? Money loves speed. And then just in athletes and sports, speed kills is what it says. So ultimately, everything that you do, it should be fast as the best you can. So even for you clients, I'm sure you guys have seen when you onboard, you get all these things super fast. If you want to see how it is, you can ask, tag us in the announcements channel or marketing channel. We'll show you a little video. It's kind of in depth. But there's ways that you can set that up, because even for your guys' clients, your guys' business, I mean, they're business owners most of the time, and that's their baby. Just like how we think about launching my agency and our companies. It's like, that's my baby. Like, it's very hard for me to delegate work. I will say that's one of my weaknesses as a leader, but I'm getting better. But it's my baby, and I want to make sure that whatever we do, whoever we invest in, if we bring in partners, if we hire somebody, I want to make sure that they are the best fit to take over whatever I'm doing, right? Because it's got to be quality. So same thing, when somebody hires you guys, you got to be able to provide that level of speed, level of wins, and level of security too, mentally. There's a mental game too.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. And in terms of the fulfillment side, I feel like I really want to be the difference in the space. I know other people are doing it shady, this and that. I don't want to be that person, and I want to over deliver, right? So immediately on that call, I am as soon as it closes, I'm letting my business partner Erica know, and we are sending them, access to the course, onboarding them onto Slack, booking their first call on the call, and sending them an agreement, a contract, so that they can immediately feel kind of safe. So I'm trying to get that time to value really quickly. But in the fulfillment side, I know it's really tight. I want to talk maybe a little bit about like the technical. How can I scale? How can I really scale this up? Because I have it at 7,800. I'll break down all of my value points of kind of like what it has. So at 7,800, I have 12 calls and 2 technology longer calls to implement the tech. I have an entire course, A to Z, 6 hours long of everything I know within the space. I have 2 group calls a month where they can tune into it like office hours.
What was that right before the group calls?
A course. A to Z course that comes with resources, addendums, legal documents, anything, so they can get the resources to plug into the business to be able to kind of expedite them forward. So 14 calls, 2 group calls per month, a course, A to Z course that comes with all the resources, and 1 year of chat support on Slack with me and my business partner that they can ask any question under the sun, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. So that's my offer, and I know I'm underpricing it, and I've already been kind of maybe told this. So, but the problem will be soon enough as I scale that I'm going to be over encumbered with the amount of work and the one-on-ones, because this is all one-on-one calls, and it's incredibly like personalized, because I believe one-on-ones give the most amount of value personally. But I will get to a point where I can no longer scale that anymore, or there's only so many clients I can take. So maybe suggestions on, okay, maybe I reduce it, don't do 12 months, maybe make it 6 months, or maybe have another coach in place or something like that that can plug in.
Quick question. So Christian will like hit on all these points of what you're saying. Quick question. The year long that you do, what's your drop off rate? Is it high?
I would say it's high because the real time in which our real working relationship would be around 3 months. If somebody's really hustling.
And that's why I asked you that question, because I already knew it.
Yeah. And then I have a follow-up to that. Like, off the 7,800, do you get a lot of like pay in fulls, or is it payment plans? What's the collection rate upfront on like the first call?
So it's interesting, because that almost segues into another question that I have to be able to get more qualified leads, because it depends on where I'm getting the leads from. If I'm getting them from my content, or getting them from ads, or I've been on other podcasts, all of a sudden it's a very different realm of who so I'm getting a lot of PIFs typically. And I'm really pushing for those PIFs and saying, oh, most of my clients are able to pay in full, blah, blah, blah.
Do you know what the percentage is though of collected up front versus?
I would honestly say it's like 50% PIFs, if not maybe even a little bit more, pay in fulls. And then the rest are kind of payment plans, or even I just started doing financing. So, they can use a firm or Klarna or whatever it might be to be able to pay me out the full, and then they're kind of paying.
What do your payment plans look like? Do you go 12 months?
No. So I basically then bring into the question, hey, this is a 12-month mentorship, so you have me in your corner for 1 year, but I can't do a 12-month, because they'll ask, okay, well, can I pay it over the whole 12 months? I can't. The problem being is
it's too low.
Is our one, it's low. 2, our working relationship is typically around 3 months if you're really hitting this hard, and 4 months. So by month 10 and you're still paying me even though you have the Airbnb, it doesn't, you won't, it's
So why don't you just make it 3 months?
Another thing is that you're collecting too much up front. What I mean by that is the rate should be like 40% up front. That
High
means
40s.
high 40s. So you should be like bumping up your prices like ASAP.
okay.
So like it should be at like 10 grand. And if you do 10 grand, each person should pay like 4 grand up front. At least. And again, a lot of people like pay up front 10 grand, but some people put like on payment plans, they'll go financing, and then like it'll divvy out to like 40 to like 50%.
Yeah, and then the people who pay up like full, like you give them extra stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like it's an incentive, right? Like, so, but what he's saying is you are, this is multiple problems, right? 12 months for 7,800, you just devalue yourself.
Yeah.
What can people actually end up with this Airbnb model? How much can they actually end up making? Because I know with an agency, it's like one of the best models out there. It's like 10K a month with like in a week, if people really wanted to, they can easily get there. Just make a couple calls, right? But I don't know what the Airbnb model, like how long does it take for someone to kind of see their returns?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say was based on the timeline, because we're saying 3 months is like, because that could work, but based on how fast, because your course is only 6 hours long. So like how long does it actually take them to watch that and then implement and then get their first Airbnb? So like that should be kind of your roadmap. We call it a client journey on the back end, and you would base it off that, I think.
Yeah. I would say 90 days or a little bit more than 90 days to be able to get them into that Airbnb. And what it yields would be two to 4,000 net profit per month per Airbnb. So, 24,000 to 50,000 per year.
But it takes 90 days. So you can say in about 6 months, they get their money back.
6 months, yeah.
Well, yeah, I would definitely shorten it.
Yeah, but also, man, if there's something else you can do to like, again, my only intention is just to put money back in their pockets. Like that's what I would like to do.
That's the thing, right? Is I think if you can get them that first 6 months, get their money back, now it's okay, what's next? That's where you have your back end offers.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you got your first Airbnb. Now what? Now that's where the question comes to you is like, so once people get their first Airbnb, what are the next set of problems that they get? And then that's where you create a back end offer, which solves those. You see what I mean? So instead of 12 months, 7,800, now it's 6 months, 7,800, for example. Could be shorter, I think. And then the next 6 months are then an extra payment, because now you're solving their problem, right? Like for us, it would be, we're helping people start and launch their digital marketing agencies. Once they get launched, what's the next set of problems? All right, well, how do I manage it? How do I manage the lead flow? How do I manage the call flow? My percentage rate of show up rates? How do I manage a closer? You know what I mean? Like fulfillment. How do I hire an account manager? So that's where we can then supply them more.
Yeah, we have like 4 different kind of structures of ours. It's all based on what people need. So they go here and then they're like, oh, I have another problem. What's a good problem, right? Because like I remember in the beginning, man, it took us like months. Actually, it took us over a year just to even like figure out lead generation.
Yeah.
We couldn't even generate leads. Like if you guys are getting leads like very fast, be grateful, because back when we started, it took us like a year. It took us 4 months just to come up with our name. And the best we could do was CANS, which was our acronyms for. It's like all our limiting beliefs, right? We're there and we're like, no, it has to be the best name, but all the branding and all the name stuff is for you as a business owner. Nobody really cares about that. They only care about what they can get out, from the offer that you have. So yeah.
Like even our website, people tell us our website is not that good, but dude, we're doing very well because our offer is there, right? The offers was important. Like you said, there's companies out there that have a website, but they're doing hundreds of $1,000s a month. Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
It's only the things that matter.
Okay. And my offer, I feel, is pretty incredible in terms of the amount of like value and support and one-on-one personalization and this and that. So maybe a segue question to that is like, how do I not get over, too busy with everything? So if I am one-on-one using my energy to pull everybody through to get them into these Airbnbs, to negotiate it, to this, etc., how do I, but I'm also creating content, doing the ads, running the ads, doing the fulfillment, working on the funnel. I am doing absolutely every hat possible and doing the fulfillment. How do I scale a one-on-one model?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think ultimately, like one of the values that we have internally is never solving a problem that doesn't exist. So the way I look at like delegation and like scaling, especially the operations, is like what is costing you the most time that's taking you away from what really matters as the business owner, because everything matters. but what matters most for you, and then delegate that part. You know what I mean? So, like for example, the onboarding, I'll tell you right now, you should not be doing that manually. You should not be doing it yourself, like sending the agreements, getting them in Slack. Like I just said, we have one workflow that takes care of everything. People get access to our curriculum, which you call, of course, curriculum, Slack. Slack has its own stuff, like all those videos and like resources, and I mean, everything gets done. So that's one thing that would probably take a few hours off your hand already. But it's like working that way, right? It's like seeing, okay, what can I make more efficient? Would you say that you're more of like the creative or more of an operator mind?
Much more of a creative. So I was about to say,
sure.
maybe you guys can help me with this, where I have a trump card. I have an ace in my pocket, which is Erica. She is my business partner and yin to my yang. She is literally that girl in high school that was highlighting and had tabs and this and that. She loves an Excel sheet, for example, and she loves operations, project management. She is, if you've ever read the book Traction, I am the visionary, and she is through and through the integrator and in charge of all of these departments. So how do I effectively leverage her so that maybe she's a coach, maybe she's managing this department? I kind of wanted to get your guys' perspective on what does it look like when I am generating 300,000 a month. What is it exactly that I'm doing? What is it exactly that Erica's doing? Who else is in the business? What are they doing? Etc. You know what I mean?
I think it's a great question. I think Zarar and I had a very similar relationship when we first started the business. We would read the same book because we would share books, right? Yeah. And I remember this one was Win Friends and Influence People. And so he would read it and they handed it to me, but I was the one that highlighted it. I had notes. He's like, dude, why are you doing all this?
And then when I would reread it, I would be like, what happened, man?
Yeah, so we had that kind of yin and yang. I just happened to be there, even though I started in sales too, but eventually transitioned because it just happens to be my piece. So my question to you is like, how do you guys currently do it right now? Like, what does she currently do? How does she do it? And what do you currently do?
Yeah, so I also run a 7-figure Airbnb business. So I actually just, she's handling 90% of the entire Airbnb business, but I have just brought in multiple virtual assistants from the Philippines to help control and run the Airbnb business. So time is being taken off her plate as we speak. And I have told her, hey, I'm also learning. I'm moved over here just to isolate, and 90% of my time is now into this and only 10% on the Airbnb business because she was handling that before. And I'm going through kind of this and meeting people, etc., learning all of the action steps that I need to take so we can work as a team to be able to integrate this. So she is kind of ready to just come to my side to be able to really scale this up. And immediately I noticed, for example, I've run ads in the past and I have turned them off since then to be able to redo the funnel, structure things, because I pumped a lot of money into ads. And then all of a sudden I'm hours and I'm in the DMs, and then I'm in, sales calls, and then I'm like structuring things as the students are coming in and putting together the course and this and that. So I said, you know what, I'm going to take a step back. I'm going to restructure things, learn all the things that I need to do so that the second I flip the switch and I put money into ads, which is another, we'll get into that. All of a sudden I can have a big workload of like, so I'm trying to figure out as the CEO, as the sales and marketing and creative, what am I supposed to be doing? What am I focused on? And what is my business partner focused on? And what are my immediate hires or team, Yeah.
You're the face of the business, right?
Face of the business,
okay. I would recommend, and maybe you guys have different opinions on this, but I would recommend you focus on sales and marketing. Okay. Marketing, sales. She focuses on fulfillment, and you kind of transition her to become like a CSM, like a client success manager, where she deals with the clients. She jumps on the one-on-ones, right? I think she's never done sales, right?
No.
Okay, I think you're the best person, especially as the face of the business, to do the setting in the beginning, and then even take the closer calls. You're obviously gonna have a higher close rate, but on top of that, you're not every day you're jumping on one-on-one calls or anything on the back end. What do you think, Zarar?
So 100% I agree. I that's literally the first thing that I told him when I first met him. But I think let's do this. Let's do a little exercise here live. We don't know exactly what his day-to-day looks like, but if you're not opposed to it, talk to us what an average day looks like for you as well as Erica. We'll literally give you the exact game plan of what you want to make 300K a month. We'll give it to you in like 10 minutes, for example, of exactly what you need to do, when to do it, and like what timeframes and all. So on a typical day, what are you doing?
Typical day is,
or do you, because like there's some people, like for example me, my Monday may be very different than a Friday, because like I batch up maybe some like the marketing stuff on the Mondays and then the fulfillment side on the Fridays, for example. I'm just throwing it out. So there's different types of people, but I just want to know from your personal time to the business, what are you working on exactly, and then we'll like help you.
Okay, so typical week, I try to mainly take all of my team Airbnb calls, any real calls. I try to fill up Tuesday and Friday as much as possible, so they're not scattered into the other weeks, and then it kind of leaks over into the rest of the week. And how I'm doing that is manually booking people rather than having them kind of go through like a Calendly or this and that. But typical day, what that might look like is wake up 5 a.m. I'm doing like an hour of like, the affirmations, the meditating, breath work, everything. And then straight up, an hour later, get right into work, and I am scripting. I'm scripting and creating content until almost like 11, and working on the personal brand, working on the funnel.
So you're getting clients from, and sorry, this is going to be more of a rapid fire thing, right? Because I want to really get deep on this. Yeah. How are you getting clients from the content?
Yeah, right now just organic content, because I haven't turned on the ads again.
Okay, how many clients? How many units a month did you push?
How many clients a month?
Yeah, is it just one basic? Because you're at like 10K a month.
Yeah, right now it's So right now it's just one.
So
I was doing around 30K a month, 20K a month. I've got up to, and then I realized, okay, I need like a DM setter, and then I need this, and then I'm doing everything myself.
But then you dropped to 10K a month.
And then I dropped to 10K because I just turned off the ads, and I said, okay. I need to fix my funnel. I need structure. I need to fix the ads.
Okay, so you couldn't fulfill on the back end. Like you're like, dude, what do I do? Is that right?
Not only that, but then I also scaled into like 10, 11 Airbnbs physically.
Oh, okay, so you did both. Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, it's impossible for us.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Mm-hmm. How many, you said you spend 1 to 2 hours a day on content to create and post?
Almost even a little bit of content and like the personal brand.
Okay, so you're spending, like there's 22 working days, you're spending about 44 hours a month to get one client. Is that accurate?
Yes, as well as build the personal brand, so that one day when I turn on ads, I'll have already retargeted.
But what if I told you, you don't need any of that?
Yeah.
You truly don't. That's a crutch. And maybe it's not your fault, right? Maybe you've been sold into believing that that's true. It's not true whatsoever.
Okay. So.
And what if I told you can land clients in your sleep? Like literally, like that's the beauty about paid ads. Okay. So think about it, right? You're always going to pay for something. Like whatever it is you're trying to get, you're always paying for it. And what you're trying to do here, and it makes complete sense, right? I'm not trying to put you down, but you're like, hey, I want to do it for free. But there's no such thing as free, because you spent 44 hours of your time. You're 28, you're full of energy. Those 44 hours could have gone somewhere else on a much higher leverage activity. And you said it yourself, you had the paid ads, you got up to 20 to 30K, right? And then you turn it off, but now you're resorting back to doing something that's just grunt work. It's physical labor, man. Like you're no different than someone who's just doing physical labor, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Like I just started to do this content stuff, by the way. We just started. Maybe like a month and a half ago when I started to take it seriously, because now it makes sense for us to be like, all right, now we're getting big enough.
Also, when you run paid traffic, a neat little trick that you can do is like after someone books in a call, after the landing page, just link your social like page, your Instagram or your Facebook. And then over time, the more like ad spend that you spend on that ad, you'll get followers like that. But the thing is, the difference between those followers is that those are people that are buyers. They're converting leads, right? So it's like you could have 10,000 followers on your Instagram, and you could make like $1 million, but you could, and on the other side, you could have like 100,000 followers where you make like $5,000 a month. So it depends on who's following you as well.
Because here, absolutely. Do you want to continue or?
Yeah, it's conversion leads. Remember, these people are already going out of their own way to book in a call with you, and then they see you. Those are way more like inclined to like actually pay you rather than some guy who's just doom scrolling. He's like, oh, Seb, cool, Airbnb, awesome, I want to make money, follow, and then he just like completely ghosts you if you message him. Does that make sense?
I realized that all the leads that were coming in through ads were people that were wanting to really jump in immediately because my ads were, I have a friend of mine who's like runs a huge ads agency, helped me even script two ad copies. And I was, if you want to make 2,000 to 4,000 in net profit per month in real estate by leveraging other people's properties and not owning it, I will help you get the funding, find the market, find the property, and then I will automate it so it runs on its own. Boom, people were just coming in. I was 20 people an hour, and it was people that were ready to buy.
Exactly.
Right?
And that's the biggest thing, right? So it's like people will always pay you.
Yeah.
Like the people that you're making this personal brand for, they're paying you. But you know what they're paying you in? They're not paying you in dollars. They're paying you in attention. Because people feel bad about if they get value. At the end of the day, most human beings, they're good. Like they have morals.
Everyone wants to be good.
Everyone wants to be good. Absolutely. So the people that are paying you right now, they're paying you with attention. If you want attention, be my guest, right? But if you're like, I want to make 300 grand a month, then the people who are paying you in attention, the reason why they're paying you in attention is because they don't have the money to pay you.
Yeah.
So that's why if you see, this is like, you look at our ads. Now we started to pick up like pretty big in regards to like, we're getting a lot more social presence and all that. But like even like 6-7 months ago, we barely had any page likes. The ads would have 3 likes, but that ad is like making maybe not millions, but like literally hundreds of thousands of dollars, like each of our ads.
Really?
Why? Yeah, because buyers who are serious, they're not here to like. They're here to just buy. Yeah. Like if someone like me, like now we go into programs and masterminds, we don't care about the course. We only care about who's the owner behind it. I'm like, I want to learn from this guy. We just pay 10 G's for like an hour worth of consultation. We're like, cool, that's all I need to know. Right? But I'm not going in. I'm not going to comment this thing. I'm not going to go like. I'm not going to go like be in their funnel. I'm not going to go to their email list. I don't have that kind of time. And I don't really care for it because I have more leverage now. I have the money. But back when we were nothing, when we were broke, then we had to pay in our attention, right? We'd be like, yeah, we're commenting and stuff like that. So what you're optimizing for is attention right now, my friend. You're not optimizing for money. Yeah?
Yeah. Honestly, I kind of in my mind knew that, where when I turned off the ads that were bringing in like really targeted clients, I said, okay, well, I want to find somebody to help me scale this. Instead of turning off all the ads, I actually just have follower ads on right now. So it's like, it's pushing out a boosted reel and it's saying, hey, talking about Airbnb and my model. If you're interested, just follow me. So I'm just building a following right now because it's just, I'm not doing any other work, right? And fulfillment, sales call, it's just bringing in followers. And then I want to turn on the actual money ads kind of thing.
Okay. So and you can even test this with like, if you really want, test it with a brand new profile and this will work. You will make way more money with a brand new profile versus having the profile that you currently have if you turn on paid ads, for example. And you don't have, you can scale through organic. It's very, very possible. It just takes a lot of time. Because what you need, my friend Michael, let's talk about him. He has like 256K followers, I think. And he just left earlier today, but he was living with me for like a month. He was pulling in about 20K a month, okay, with his organic. Do you know how much he made in about 3.5-4 weeks with me? Actually, no, from April 1st, when we launched ads. So we launched it on I think it was like April 2nd or something. He did 120 grand, dude. You can ask him.
Yeah.
$120,000.
How much ad spend?
I think he's like at a 17, 18x ROAS. Which is like $1 in, $17, $18 back. But again, I don't want to frame that for you of what you can expect. But because you do have a personal brand, you could make more for sure. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Yeah. I'm just saying that at the time, it kind of is is not the best timing for that right now.
I would optimize for cash flow in, and then I would look at all the other things. Just bring in clients as well, in the beginning.
So with Michael as well, what we did was we helped him with an offer. He sold it yesterday, actually. I remember I was having steak outside. He's like, dude, 60K offer you sold. It's a non-ROI offer, by the way. Check this out. He teaches men how to be men again. Right? It's a mindset thing. It's not even an ROI offer. If it was an ROI offer, it would probably be double, triple that. So you have an ROI offer.
Yeah.
Right? So it just kind of goes to show you oh man, This stuff is powerful if you properly kind of do it, right? Now, he's extremely good at what he does. His mindset, 10 out of 10. I didn't have to talk. He's actually teaching me mindset stuff because he's really, really up there. He just lacked a little bit of the skill set stuff, right? Which is like marketing, sales, tech, operations, all that stuff. I just helped him with that. And this guy so I don't want to take all the credit whatsoever, but we helped him a little bit with some of the skills that it takes, the business skills.
I have a question. So you helped him with all of the operations and the skills and the technical stuff. Should I be hiring somebody to help me with this?
No. You need to do yourself.
Should I be learning everything?
This is the same conversation I had with Michael.
No, I think he's talking about ops. You're talking about
ops. And then second question is, what should I be setting up first that is the biggest levers that have the most leverage?
Now we're getting to the juicy stuff.
Now we're getting to the juicy stuff,
excited
guys.
for this.
Yeah, I personally think the easiest answer to that is because most of the time people hire roles, right? They're like, I think I need CSM. I think I need this person. But the problem with that is what you need is to take away whatever the workload is away from your plate, right? So, and then you craft the role out of that. So for example, like when we first started, I was a CSM. I was managing all of our clients. I had about 50 under my plate on top of the ops, on top of the finance. Like it was a lot. And so very similar to you, I was like, okay, where can I utilize my time the best for the business, right? Because that's what matters. The business is bigger than all of us. And so for me, it was okay, let me get, for example, the onboarding stuff. One of the first things that I got off my plate. So I hired Jenny, actually, she's still with us, hopping on the call, and she's managing this call. Incredible. And she came on, she took over all the ops, like the day-to-day stuff, and I could truly focus on the clients, and I could use that time to now start focusing more on the operations and like the bigger picture. Then I was like, okay, what's the next thing? I was like, dude, my time is just spent purely on like client conversations. As much as I love clients, it's just like I can't grow the business if I'm spending my time with each individual client, because then that limits how much, you know what I mean? There's only so many clients I can talk to in a day versus if I'm bigger picture, I can impact a lot more people, right? Like now we have 4 CSMs and each of them handle a lot of clients. I know I'm indirectly, like through them, managing the clients, you know what I mean? Yeah. So like your impact has to grow. So that's the way I look at it. So for one of the first things I would say, just based on what I've heard, is definitely hiring somebody to take over the day-to-day operations on a very simple level. Because sometimes I've seen people, they're like, do I need a COO? No, you don't need a COO, right? Like you just need like an assistant, like or operations assistant, what we call them, or operations generalist. You know what I mean? And I can help you find somebody. Yeah. But yeah, I would say that's the first part. And then eventually your partner, I think bringing her in and just having her kind of put her eyes on things, and just be like, here's the thing, right? Because each of you have roles. Even when we first started as us two, and eventually Mo as well, and now all 3 of us are like, okay, here's his role, here's his role, here's his role. And here's the outcome of that role, right? So for Zarar, ideally with the marketing, it's like I want to bring in the best quality and obviously the most that I can to the sales team. And then Mo is like, I want to be able to convert as many of those clients into paying clients and units into my plate. And now my thing is I need to make sure that we are obviously profitable, we're smoothly fulfilling for clients, and then we're also retaining them on the back end, right? So we all know the outcomes that we want. So based on that, that's the conversation you have with your partner. So, okay, what do you need to focus on, which is marketing and sales? Bring in the money into the business, and then she needs to make sure it stays there and you're also profitable. You know what I mean? So that's kind of the way you look at it. Now, obviously, like when you're a little smaller, you can start to delegate, smaller pieces that lead up to the big picture. Because I wasn't like a true COO when we first started, but now I do run my day-to-day as kind of like a COO and like a CSD kind of thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
You can probably take your company up to like $100K a month with you being the setter, you being the closer, you being the marketer, and the CSM. Because the biggest thing is this, right? Like when you said it yourself, and I knew this would happen because like we see these businesses, we help clients all the time. You get to 20, 30K a month and your fulfillment stuff breaks, right? And I'm glad you pulled back, because a lot of people don't. They just keep going, and then their fulfillment's like trash, and the clients are like what's going on, right? And then it's just this cycle, and then the business goes down, right? Because you can't manage that. And that's where Christian comes in. He's like the glue of the whole business to make sure the clients are winning. And here's another part. Like and like we can go deeper into this, but your front end sales team is very different than your back end sales team. Your back end sales team, like for us, the reason why we're able to like be, so successful that people may say is because of our retention rate, and people want to upgrade. Dude, we have $150,000 offers that we just actually signed. We just had one client day before yesterday who came onto that. Why? because we're fulfilling for people. They're like 150K is like a house almost, right? And people trust us with that. Like they get the results, they're getting the things that they want, they're getting all this success, and they're like, hey, can you just like take my agency and just sell it, just run the whole thing completely 100% and then just sell it. So that's like the offer. We just take it on, we do all the work for them, and we just sell it for like a 4 or 5x multiple, and we combine a few of these, right? So we have a broker, we have all these things. But I'm saying that because your offer right now is just going to be a pure front end, right? You do the front end, then you see what the problems are going to be in a good way for the clients. So like once you help clients, they get to a certain level in their business, and now they're like,
They have good problems.
I have a problem.
Organically, you create problems for your clients by solving problems.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So then the next thing is like your next offer, right? And the only way someone's going to do that is if they got the results on the first offer.
Exactly.
Makes sense, right? It makes like, it's just common sense, right? And again, most people, they're just like, front end, and just like don't care about your best form. I'll tell you, you want to learn marketing to the best level, client success. Your clients are going to be the best people ever. We have so many clients refer us, their friends, family, like on a daily basis. Well, like literally we have like group chats that are created and stuff because people are like, oh my God, this is amazing. So we don't even have to spend that much on ads. And what does it do? There's no cost per acquisition. There's $0 cost per acquisition. And here's the thing, social equity, right? That's also a metric that we should be tracking, right? It's brand equity, social equity, that people are like sales reps of ours without us even kind of knowing. And we do have an ambassador program as well, right? So like we kind of built that out. But the whole idea of this is focus on the fulfillment, get it really locked up. And I would personally take it to about 100K a month. Now your life is going to be, and if I can suggest the meditation stuff, the affirmation stuff, let's put that to a pause just for now, because you're going to work like 17, 18 hours a day. Like to get to like if you want to like get to the 100K a month.
But one really good pro to this is that your profit margins are going to be amazing, especially if you're doing a lot of the stuff yourself in the beginning. And again, don't do this forever. Just like in the beginning, get 200 grand a month, do most of the work yourself. I would say it would be a little bit iffy about the CSM side. Maybe outsource that to like his business partner.
Yeah.
So the reason why I want to bring that up is, okay, you're the CEO, right? You're the face. Okay. You just got to be good at it. Like you just have to know like the whole thing in and out to some level. If you're going to have, like we have 50 people, how can I, like if I hire someone, how can I train them and how can I ramp them and how can I lead them if I don't even know where to go? If you hire a CSM, and that's what for example, the conversation that I would have with Michael, I would tell him like, you're logically correct. Yeah, we can just plug in a setter and a closer and that's it. Logically it's correct, but it's not practical. When you plug that person in, how can you manage them if you don't even know where we're headed? You think people are going to want to follow? Whether the guy doesn't even know where we're going. Imagine a pilot's like, yeah, we're just flying the thing. And like, think about it, right? It's like, makes no sense. So why do we just, and it's a crutch, right? As business owners, because again, it's the easy way out. And I understand this stuff, some of this stuff is kind of hard. But if you truly want to have the business that you're talking about, that you want to have the least amount of stress and the least amount of just relaxation, this is the way to do it. And it's balanced. I'll tell you why. You want to have that life later, the relaxation and all, like not having that much stress. Well, then you got to put in the stress now, if that makes sense. And you can get to 100K a month next month.
And I take my words back. I totally agree with Zarar, with you being the CSM as well, because once you have the team under you, there'll be like fires that happen every now and then. But now, since you've done it before, you'll be like, oh, this is how you figure out that fire. And you'll be spending like 5-6 hours a week at that time. But you know exactly how to deal with all the fires, and your team, you'll start training your team for that. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think if you bring in like, because eventually you want to bring in like different leaders and different like leads for certain positions, and even them, right? How are they going to be able to direct the team? Because you're now managing the team through that person. How can they lead the team if you haven't been there before? But so it's just like what Zarar said, like blowing everything in and out. Like when we first started, there was no clients, so I was helping with the sales and I was helping with the marketing. Eventually, I went back into the back end, but we all did everything, so everybody knows how to do everything. And so no matter who it is, and I know there was a question in the chat about like who focuses on people development. It's like everybody. Like just whoever is leading that department is who focuses on that, but we can all, do everything. You know what I mean? So, but I do think that's important, especially if you hire a manager. Especially like you get a CSM. How can they lead your clients if you've never done that before either? So both of you are gonna be clueless. Like, hey, the client's saying something,
and then who loses? Your clients.
Yeah.
And then guess what happens? Bad reviews, refund chargebacks, all these things, problems, stress. Why go through that? And if you can, the next few months, if you can just put in the effort and the work that it's going to take for you. And again, for the people watching this, clients, like, you know, most of you guys, you don't have to worry about this part, right? Remember I told you like the 97% of thing, you still should know how your business works, but you don't personally have to know every small little detail because his business model is slightly different, right? He teaches people. So that's a little bit of a differentiating factor.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. And a question, I'm still thinking about this 17-hour days and okay, what does my day look like? And
very good question.
What does my week look like?
Okay, so here's what I would do if I was you. Number one, generate demand.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're good at fulfillment. I'm not worried about that for you. I think you're I know you for some time and I think you're going to take care of people. That's good. And also here's another thing. The reason I just want to go back to this point, the reason why I want you to be CSM is because your first few clients, you want to make sure they like crush it. Because that's marketing material as well.
Yeah.
And also it's going to showcase to you, hey, these are the things that are broken in fulfillment. Let's fix them. And you can be upfront and honest with your clients. Like, hey, look, I'm doing this new thing. You can do it for a subsidized rate. So you can keep it at the 7,800. Tell them that, hey, typically it's, 9,800. But for you, it's like a little bit of a beta test. So you're upfront and honest with them. And then you're like, dude, but in return, I'll personally manage this for you. And if you like it, I'd love to have you give me a testimonial.
And to piggyback off of that, when you have a team, the amount of conviction that you can like show them and they're going to have is going to be insane because you're personally getting these people to win, right? You're the best person to like help them achieve their goals, right? So like when you get a salesperson, you show them all the wins that you got for your clients. When you get a CSM, you show them all the wins that you got for your clients, right? So it's like when they speak to other people, when they're trying to sell them, they'll feel it. Like they can literally, the client will be able to feel it because your sales rep will be so convicted in your offer.
Yeah. Okay. And like that goes to show like there's literally clients like sometimes they're like, hey man, I saw your videos. We're strangers, but they're like, you're so convicted. And I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't even know that. Like until recently, multiple people keep bringing it up. And I realized it's because the confidence that we have when we take someone, like look at Michael, the latest client that we have, the latest client. He went from 20K a month to like 120 in like 2 weeks. Right. And we have so many of these stories. So it's like, that shows in the videos, that shows when I speak to people, that gives them the confidence to speak. When we talk to the team, they feel it, right? There's a lot of feelings attached as well, which I think as businesses, we don't really talk about, but that's a big part of business.
Yeah.
We're humans. We're built on humans.
We're human beings. Yeah. It's not B2C or B2B. It's H2H. It's human to human.
And I believe that's one of the things I even mentioned on the sales calls. Like, it's the system works if you work it, and if you work, I work with you, and I will match. I have a lot of energy, and I will match your energy, and I will put my energy into making you successful.
Absolutely.
If you're willing to do the work as well. So I want to pull people through to get them the results, and I feel like definitely I'm the person that can help them do it. And just a segue thing, I've also been coaching people for the past year and a half, even within my mentors community. So I know how to get people crazy results in this, and I know every aspect of the business in terms of getting them the results. So, but should I be pulling them through and checking up on them every single day? And if I'm doing it every single day, how much time do I have to be doing the sales calls as well?
Let's break down his day.
Exactly. That's what I was going to get into. Exactly right. Okay. Number one, generating demand. That's
generating demand.
I'm good with you on fulfillment. I wouldn't coach you up like this if I didn't know that you were good at fulfillment. Yeah. Okay, so now let's talk about this. Only generating demand.
And this goes exactly for our clients because for the fulfillment we take care of.
Yeah, we take care of the fulfillment. So for you, if you're not maybe like, you're like, hey, I'm just a 9-to-5 employee, corporate worker, I don't really have the skill sets that we're talking about here. No problem. That's what we're here for. That's what our team of 50 employees are here for. And that should give you guys that level of confidence to say, all right, I can only focus on generating demand, right? Because most people, what they do is they operate from the opposite perspective. They're like, how do I lock up fulfillment? Because they don't have that confidence. And that's where most of the time goes. Why did we take a year for us to like even pick a niche? Because we're like, we were scared of like, what if we get a client, how are we going to be able to fulfill for this person? Because we didn't have the skill sets, right? But you guys have like literally access to our team of like 50 people, right? 8-figure team. So now you are only focusing on generating demand. Mm-hmm. The content stuff, dude, I would drop it. Like, honestly, I would just drop it. You have enough. I mean, if we take a look at your Instagram, I think you have a pretty good Instagram, better than mine in some aspects, right? Yeah. And that shows you like, it doesn't matter.
But this is going to be a little bit like on a tangent. I would still have your Instagram set up on your landing page.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so those are your assets, right? Again, the personal brand that you talked about, the content, those are your assets. So here's what you can do. What I would do is, number one, turn on paid ads. And now there's multiple strategies on what you should do, right? Like you can do DM ads, which I'm kind of leaning towards,
Yeah, me
right?
too.
What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Okay. I think you should just do DM ads, Instagram DM ads. And everything, all your call to action, book a call, book a call, book a call. No like, hey, say this for this keyword. No, book a call. Right?
In the DMs, I'm telling them to book a call.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But
I'm sending
you're
them-
pre-qualified. You're not like, I mean,
Yep.
you're not going to show up and be like, hey, book a call, right? Like, you know, there's a good process, right? We teach that in the setting, like the setting module that we have in our curriculum. But like you go through that, you ask them like, hey, are they going to be a good fit? And here's the best part about ads. You make the decision on who you want to work with.
Yeah.
We disqualify like 45% of people. So we could technically be 45% bigger. We could almost be half the, like, but because, I mean, that's double actually.
Yeah.
We could be double the size, but like we're not optimizing for money. Like, you know, we want to have a good life. We want to have work with good people. All the clients are the good human beings. So we like qualify them. Like we have an application, we have a setter, we have a closer, and then we have a CSM, right? So actually there's some times where we talk to a client on the, like as a CSM, and we're like, yeah, we just don't want to work with you.
Yeah.
Just because like we want to be respectful to our people, right? Because we don't want unnecessary emotional baggage and all this, you know, trauma dump. We're not here for that. We're experts, right? Like we're here to give you results. So we need you to work with us. So you can now start to command those type of clients from your ads.
Yeah.
Because you have so many people coming in. It's unlimited, dude. Like if you lock it up, like it's literally like cash machine. So now you make the decision on who you want to work with. Very similar to McDonald's. You can't go to McDonald's and be like, hey, here's $2 million. I want a franchise. No, you got to go through an interview process 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Right? So now you have that level. And what does that do? Better clients. And what does that mean? Better results. And what does that mean? Better marketing.
Yeah.
It's a whole flow that you're building out.
Okay.
Yeah?
So I love it. I love it. And the DM set, honestly, I feel great on the DM setting process.
Nice.
And the sales calls. I actually hired a sales coach to kind of help me with this. And my DM qualification process is pretty tight. And I'm actually, so that's cool. So I'm doing DM ads. I'm qualifying them. Am I manually booking these calls or sending a Calendly or sending them
Yeah.
to a landing page or sending them to a VSL?
So
or-
this is how it works. DM ads, they're very good when you're like talking over text. But another step to it is, suppose I'm talking to you. Suppose you're Mr. Prospect. I'm like the setter. I'm gonna talk to you. As soon as you respond back, on that little Instagram like button towards the top right, I'm just gonna try to call you like immediately.
Oh,
I'm just gonna call you and I'm gonna set you on a call. Like it's an outbound call basically. That's my number one thing to do. Like as soon as someone's response, I'm trying to call them, because the things that I can get so much more information from you. I can gap you. I can understand your financial ability to invest, your current situation, your goals, your pain points, all of that on a call. And it's not going to be long, like elongated into like 12 hours, because the things that some people, they check their Instagram, they're like, oh, okay, I'm gonna text this guy back, cool. And they come back after 6 hours, they text you back. Like, I don't want to do any of that. I want to compose it all within 10 minutes. It saves me so much more time. So this is a 10-minute conversation. But on top of that, the emotional buy-in is so much more. Now they're gonna actually show up to that call. So your show-up rate is gonna be way higher. And on top of that, your close rate is gonna be higher too. And if you're the personal, like the guy who's setting them on that call, they mean like, oh shoot, Seb called me, right? This isn't some like random person. This is like the main guy himself. So you have that edge, especially in the beginning. So like as soon as they respond, just dial them up.
okay. So if I have like 20 leads coming in an hour,
Yes.
Call them all up.
Oh yeah.
And
when
break
am I-
it, bro. You got to, like what most basically say, and what we're all talking about here, what Christian mentioned, you got to break all your systems. And how will you know who to hire? This is exactly how. You break it all. 20 leads, you're like, man, I can't keep up. Perfect. Now you need a setter.
Now you need to set it.
Now you need a
Yeah.
setter. Not before. Before you're scared.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Okay. Wow.
And just FaceTime, like the face video, like the video call on Instagram. Just do that, because now your face is on there too, dude. It's
And
cool.
again, let's look at it. Why does it work? Don't just take our word, challenge us,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We know what we have. We know this works. Here's why. Your so-called competitor, and now again, if you package your stuff so good, you're one of one. Now people can't even compare you with anyone. Now you can charge whatever you want, right? So it all feeds into each other. But when you call, and here's another thing, people who are hopping on calls with you, they're not only on calls with you, but like, don't think like that. And I think that goes for our clients as well. They think that, oh my God, if someone books in a call, like this person's going to show up. And no, they have like 5 or 6 other calls booked in as well.
Yeah.
Right. With your so-called competitors.
Yeah.
Now, if you as a CEO shows up versus they could be 3, 4, 5, 6 million a month. Their CEO's not showing up.
Yeah.
You are though. As a client, who like wouldn't you want to work with someone like you? Because it's like, man, this guy's real.
This guy is real. Yeah.
And again, when you show up to this call, you have so much passion and so much information, so much knowledge. They feel that they're like, okay, this is our champion here.
Yeah, and this is exactly what crushed for Michael specifically because I was like, dude, don't hire a closer, don't hire a setter.
He pushed back a lot on that. He wanted a setter, a closer, and we're like, no, dude, you hop on.
Yeah.
And he was directly calling every lead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he was like, oh man, this is like, it works that simple.
You'll get objectionless closes.
Okay, is there any text before that? Am I qualifying at all before the call?
We'll send you. Like,
so the qualification, like for the best chance for this to like actually crush is you do the qualification all over like the actual phone call. Like the whole conversation should be over the phone call for the most part. But after they DM you, suppose the DM comes in, call them up. They don't respond, then text them. Try to text them, and then if they respond again, call them up. Just try your best to get on the call.
Okay, and how far in the future am I booking them into the calendar?
Max 48 to 72 hours. Max,
I would do 24 to 48 in the beginning. And again, that system's going to break. You're like, dude, I have like 8 appointments. What am I supposed to do? Then you elongate it to 72. And then you do like after 72, actually you can do up to 4 days. For your offer, though, I would cap it at 72. And now you're like, okay, too many appointments. What's the constraint? Who do you hire? Closer.
Exactly.
Okay. And what is the call time? Sales call?
45 minutes.
45 minutes.
Yeah.
And now, again, like if you have good content, it becomes easier.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. And one call close or like 2 call close?
One call.
I would just do one
call.
You could experiment with, I would in the beginning, dude, I would do 2 call. The reason for that is because maybe I'm just built different, but like, I want to learn how to do setting and I want to do it myself and I want to do a triage call. Why? Because now when I plug in, because ultimately the best form of this typically is a setter and then a closer, typically. Okay? And here's where I'm going with this. You're learning the skill set of setting for yourself and then closing. But what you're also doing is you're getting that skill set, right? So when you can plug in a setter, how are you going to manage them if you don't even know how to do a triage call?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then your whole business is gone because setters are so important.
Sure.
Like they're one of the most important pieces and most people focus on the closers.
Oh yeah, setters build the whole business, but this is where my thing is, my view is a little bit different. This is why I'm very like good in setting because my triage call, I mix that into my outbound call. So I can always one call close people on like that, technically that first call, because as soon as they respond, I'm just calling them up. And that's my like triage call / like qualification. So I'm doing all of that before I even send them to this like the first real sales call. When they jump on, they close.
What do you think what if he does that one call, but only for the DM ads? Because when you do a VSL, I don't think that maybe is the best strategy. Like if you're doing a cold VSL.
So cold VSL, do you know what a VSL is? Okay, so what I recommend for a cold VSL, you send them to book a call. As soon as they opt in, so name, number, and email, if their call is tomorrow at like 4 p.m., dude, as soon as they opt in, you call them up. Be like, hey, man, this is Seb from Airbnb, etc.
Yeah, as a setter, right?
Yeah, I was just calling because I saw that we have a call tomorrow at 4 p.m. I just want to shoot you a quick call, see if you have the Zoom link. Yes, I do. Okay, cool. Is it okay if I ask you a few questions, kind of see where you're at? And then if I feel like we're a good fit, then I can send you free resources so you're prepared for your next call, like on Monday or tomorrow. He's like, yeah, I am. Okay, cool. And then you just go directly into your questions. Now what you're doing is that in that 10 minutes, you're just qualifying the hell out of him, right? When you qualify him, if he's not the person that you want to work with, dude, just cancel the next call rather than having that slot filled up, you know? So you're doing that all within 10 minutes as soon as he's in. And on top of that, dude, imagine you opt into someone's funnel and they call you in like the first 5 minutes. They're gonna be like, whoa, the CEO called me himself? That's crazy. You know, so like they're gonna be so hyped before they even jump on that actual sales call. That's what I would do. And that's what crushes for us. Our setters make our whole business. If it wasn't for our setters, dude, we would like drop revenue by like 70%.
And absolutely, like the biggest I had this very hard where I was like, I would just put all my effort and energy into the closer. And then I'm like, what's going on? You know, that's incorrect. Let me ask you this. Mm-hmm. Who's your front, like the soldiers like up front? What's the first human communication someone gets from a closer? No, it's from a setter. So why are we putting so much effort on the closer versus the setter? Right? Those are the people who the quality of your business is the quality of what's happening on the setter calls from the top.
Yeah.
So if our setters are not really good people, I mean, we hire some really good setters. They have to be good. They're not going to be some like, I don't know, like in a third world country, can't even speak English. actually we have a couple setters there, but they're like they hit the gym, they're like gold medalists, they're like really, really good as like, you know, they have a lot of skills. What I'm trying to say is like, don't hire someone who's just like a random McDonald's worker and who has no skills, right? Don't do that. So you got to have good personally developed setters. So then when they show up to the calls, that's how someone's feeling about your company on the front lines.
Exactly. Another thing, I don't recommend, and I've done this so many times. I've battled Zarar about this. I've battled Christian about this. What's worked for me, and I run the sales team right now, I don't like hiring closers. I like hiring setters and promoting them to be closers. Dude, they know the most about the offer. They've set and they're going to close now. They're so convicted. They've been in the company for 8-9 months. That guy's not leaving.
Because they see the client. So we have a client wins channel every day. This guy landed this thing, and then also, you know what's funny? It's not only about money. When they start seeing like clients are winning, like their physical health got better.
Yeah.
Which is like, okay, that's amazing. But it's an indirect, actually it's a pretty direct relation, because like we have high standards. We hold our clients to like the highest standards possible, and we challenge them in a very healthy way. So like for you as well on the fulfillment side, do that. Accountability, challenge in a healthy way. They like will become so much better human beings.
Yes.
Which will allow them to have better businesses.
And they will die on the hill for you. Yeah.
We have some of the best clients ever, man. Like they're literally coming out to live with us.
Yeah.
You know?
And how often are you like reviewing their setting process? Are you like weekly checking in with them, daily? How do you correct that? Yeah, first.
Great question. So I do at least 3 call reviews per week. Okay, so like, and this is more of a sales manager standpoint. So like in the beginning, I wouldn't do this too much with you, especially if you're taking the sales calls. I don't take any more sales calls. I just manage the sales team, right? So like what I like to do every single day, at least 1 daily sales meeting every single day, right? So this is just temp check of like, hey, this is the pipeline. These are the people that I've spoke to. They didn't close on the first call, or these are the people that closed on the first call. This is what happened. And I have the closers and the setters in here. Okay. And this is when you're doing like, let's say like 100 to like 200 grand a month. Okay. You're doing the DSM, and then maybe every now and then, like every 2 or 3 days out of the week, you review a call on that actual like daily sales meeting. Okay. Because the team's not too big. Maybe it's like 2 closers, two setters, right? So you can review a call. Maybe 1 day is a closer's call, 1 day is a setter's call. And then after that, when you're doing like $1 million a month, you're going to have a setter manager, and you're going to have a closer manager, and you're going to have a sales manager. Okay. So like that's the sales manager. He's doing the whole DSM of everyone, and he's and the setter manager, he breaks out halfway in the DSM, and he manages the setters, and he does call reviews of the setters. Okay, and same thing with the closer. The closer goes out and he does the call review for the closers. Then as a sales manager, you review the calls of your setter manager, of him reviewing the calls of his setters. And the same thing you do with the closer manager. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
and then as CEO, you're reviewing, not only sometimes you come in and view the setter's calls, the setter's DMs, then the setter manager's coaching call off the setters, same thing with the closers, and also the sales manager's coaching style on how he's coaching and leading your sales team. And that's just one department, my friend. There's a whole marketing department. There's a whole client success department. There's a whole operations department.
Okay.
But again, step by step.
Yeah.
Right? Like this is if you want to run a really good company.
This
like
is great.
4
This is
million a
useful.
month, 5 million a month.
Like our peak with all our offers combined, we were doing 5.3 million cash a month. Our peak. Not anymore. You know, things happen. Like you don't always stay there as well. Like, you know, things kind of break. But this is like what it took to get there.
Okay. So what is the operation side? What the marketing side? How does that team set up? And
perfect, great
as
question.
CEO, like how am I overseeing those?
Well, first you got to do it yourself, right? That's why it's like everything, man. Just like to some level, do it. Once you understand, once you're like, I'm competent in it, move on to the next thing, right? Okay, so the marketing actually is very simple up until like I think like 700-800K a month, or even like $1 million a month. It's actually pretty simple when it comes to paid ads. Okay. And for you, what I would do is like, you'll take your DM thing to about 150K a month.
Yeah.
And then it'll break.
It'll break.
Yeah.
Your DM thing is not going to work. But I mean, 150K is not bad.
Yeah.
And then what you do is you do a VSL, which is like, we teach that pretty heavily.
This is direct VSL. So he's not talking about like doing freebies or like webinars.
This is like pure, here's my offer, let's do it.
Are you in or are you out?
Okay, now here's the thing. In my opinion, the VSL is the quickest way up there.
Yeah.
But it's not easy. Why? they're complete strangers. You have a few minutes to say who you are, what you do, and now you're asking them for whatever you charge. That's a lot of money, and that's like they don't have that touch point. So your sales conversation of what you have in the Instagram DMs is a completely different sales conversation when it comes to VSL. It's hard. Like, it's like you're gonna be sweating, man.
Yeah.
Right. And again, this is why then the personal brand and stuff does help, but it's not necessary. Right. Yeah. Your sales skills are going to be very necessary. And what I mean by sales skills, I don't mean some weird tactics, dude. We don't do any of that.
Just
stuff.
having a real conversation with the person, and if you truly believe you can help him, and then you run him through the process. That's all.
That's it, dude. But like knowing how to lead people from where they're at to where they want to get to, and they will throw every objection in the book. My cat's dog died, right? So it's like, you know what's BS and you know what's real, and you being the best leader. And sometimes it's like, hey, you know what? We're not your champion, and people will appreciate that. They're like, this guy actually, like, he's not here for my money. Right. So you, again, it all comes back to the business owner, right? You have to be good yourself, right? You have to have the personal development stuff, but then also the skill set stuff, right? So your level of sales skills, I think you need to really refine that, and you really need to like, and how you do that is like, you just hang around people who know that really well. Like, you just get a coach, man. That's the easiest way. We still have a coach for ourselves. Yeah. We will never stop having coaches and mentorships and like program. Like, we will never tell anyone to do anything we're not willing, able, or capable to do, or just doing ourselves right now. Right. We're constantly in masterminds, even, like how we met as well. Like, we met at a mastermind, right? Like, so, it kind of goes to show you.
Wow. Okay. So it's a lot. I've been able to grab from this is, one, just definitely work harder and do every piece of the business and scale it up to the point that it almost breaks, and then be plugging other people.
Not almost. It breaks.
It has to break.
No, you can't have fear with that, bro. Like, you can't.
Okay.
Because like it's limiting. Okay, let's talk a little bit more. Go ahead. So let's break it. All right. So I want to break it. How do I break it in terms of ads? So I'm guessing if I flip on ads, I will have a lot more work. What should I jump to an ad spend right now to break the system? An amateur would give you a real answer. A professional can't give you an answer.
Okay.
Watch this. It's interesting, right? Yeah. Okay. If I knew everything, then I'd be a billionaire, right? If I knew exactly what to tell you exactly, then I would just be a billionaire. It doesn't work that way. A lot of the ads that we put out fail. Yeah. A lot of the marketing. Well, let me rephrase that. I don't think anything really truly fails. Ads, Facebook ads, or anything when it comes to it, always works, but that's not the right mindset of whether it worked or whether it failed. Actually, here's the right mindset. It's an airplane, right? Like, a lot of the times the airplane is not being managed. Like, the pilot's not personally like flying that thing. He takes it off, puts it in autopilot. And when it's an autopilot, it's never perfectly aligned with the runway. Never, right? Because there's wind factor. There's like turbulence. There's even the people walking back and forth, that has an impact, right? So it goes up and down by a few degrees. Ads are the same way. Does that make sense? So when you throw up an ad, you're based on the soft stats and the hard stats. And again, we give you guys all keys on like how to read your numbers, and like, exactly what the problem is, how to fix that. So you know where the direction of the ads are. And then you just optimize.
Okay.
So if you spend $1, it's never wasted. You're just buying data. All you're doing is just buying data from Facebook. That's it.
Okay. So I have like about 5 ads in the chamber that I can just be turning on, and I've prepared. So, or even 6 if I'm including just static picture copy, where it just has a picture and then it's my offer. So I'm ready to launch these. I don't know. I'm going to maybe just flip them on to put like $3,000 a month in ad spend. And then I'll see where that goes from there.
Dude, I would just start from like $50 a day. You don't have to spend. I mean, at our peak, we were spending like $44,000 a day, like with everything combined. Okay. Well, we started with $50. Like, everything we tell our clients is $50 a day. Okay. So, the reason for that is because sometimes your thing is going to be completely out of whack. Mm-hmm. And then you're like, oh, okay, cool. I can just adjust.
Okay. How do I know which one? Okay, so $50 across all ads?
Well, that's the thing. Why do you want to launch 5 ads? I'm just challenging you on this.
Okay.
Maybe you're right. But here's the thing. What's your structure of the 5 ads?
So what do you mean by structure?
Ads are never like, hey, throw it up on the wall, hope it sticks. That's how people turn against Facebook. They're like, oh, Facebook ads don't work. That's why.
Okay.
Now let's talk about it, right? Like tactics. Oh, like what I would test first. What's the most important things? Number one. Okay, so there's two. You got to understand how these things work. There's two pieces to this. It's actually pretty simple. One piece is scientific. One piece is being an artist. The art side is in the beginning the most important, which is basically your creative, which is what someone sees, like whether it's an image or a video. And then the ad copy, this is the art side of it, right? It's the words, it's the creativity, it's the offer. Does that make sense? So that's one complete different sector. The other other sector is the scientific part. You spend money, you put in dollars. What are the soft stats that are coming in? And how do I adjust those soft stats to my favor? And the soft stats, we can talk about CPC, CPM, CTRs, link, like I can go on and on. I can have a whole 10-hour-long session on just the soft stats.
Yeah, that would be great. I'd honestly be great because I'm not tracking anything. So
But you haven't launched it, or you did it in the past?
I've done it in the past. So what are the top KPIs that I should be looking
Number
at?
one KPI, CPA. That's it. Cost per acquisition.
acquisition.
Dollar in, dollar out. What is it? And this is where most marketing agencies, they try to find a crutch. And this is very important for you guys as clients as well. You're working with a lot of business owners and stuff. You can't the biggest thing that your clients have seen is these golden crutches of this problem is because of this or whatever. But it's at the end of the day, it's CPA, it's cost per
CPA to AOV.
Yeah. Dollar in, dollar out.
So average order value. So suppose I spend my CPA, my cost per acquisition is $2,000. And let's say I'm selling, my average order value is $7,800, exactly where you're at. That's very profitable. That's almost a 4x return. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But if it's my CPA is $2,000 and I'm making my average order value is $3,000, dude, that's not too good. That's kind of trash, So you have to know that too. So it's those are the two biggest metrics you should know.
AOV and
average order value, so how much someone pays you, and then
there's one more, LTV, your lifetime value.
Yeah,
and that comes from your back end upsells. That's typically a little bit later on, right? Because when you have different offers, then you'll know. And here's the beauty about ads. How do you scale? How do you know when to scale? Well, you just take your LTV, your lifetime value of if I get one unit, this is exactly how much I will be making on the back end, which is why it's so important to track your numbers, right? You know exactly how much you're going to make on the back end. If I get this client, you know how much in cash and in revenue, projected revenue, and then you know what your percentage of collected is from the cash versus revenue. And then you take a look at your CPA, which is your cost per acquisition, and then you see what the things are, and then you just make a decision how much do I want to scale? And now we're able to tell in 6 months how much we're going to make, and we're maybe 5% off, or that's typically really good, 5% off or on. And now, of course, there could be some major issue that happens, and we could be completely wrong. You can't really account for a war or something, right? But if everything's completely fine, typically it's going to be about a 5 or max 10% off or on. And that is what gives you a good night's sleep at night. Or else you're going to be a hunchback and you're just working.
Yeah.
Right? You're just working. If you guys kind of resonate with this, let me know, because that's what we went through, right? We had to go through those 10 years of experience to kind of get to this level. But you got to know your numbers. You got to be able to project in advance. And that's how you have an easy life or a better life.
Am I just tracking these on an Excel sheet? How often am I tracking these?
That's a whole different, we can talk about that for 10 hours as well. All right. So I'm all for simplicity as well, right? Yeah. And again, you're in a different phase. Right now, what I would do is I would set a marketing sheet, sales sheet, fulfillment sheet, right? Super simple. Marketing is your soft side.
Finance,
finance, of course, that's the most important, right? But it's pretty simple, right? Here's what you're spending on ads. Here's what some of the soft stats are, and I'll show you how to read them. We have videos we've done. I've done a lot of trainings. If you guys want me to do another training on that, more than happy to do that for your as clients. But you read the soft stats, and then you read the hard stats of what it is, and then you look at your sales KPIs. For example, how many booked calls, how many leads did you get, how many booked calls, how many people showed up, how many offers made, how much revenue, how much cash collected, how many deposits, right? So now if and we have keys on everything. If you get X amount of leads, you should have X amount of booked calls. If you have X amount of booked calls, this is a show rate. And this is the offer rate. Show up. And then if one of them is off, let me give you an example. You get, say, 30 leads. Out of that, you get about 22 booked calls. That's pretty good. Lead to booked calls, pretty good. Okay? 22 booked calls. But then out of the 22 booked calls, you have 3 showed up. It's all right, well, clearly it's not a marketing issue. And here's the problem. If you don't know, you're going to be like, marketing sucks. And it could. But that's typically the last thing that sucks.
Exactly.
What typically is there is in the middle of the funnel.
Sales operations.
And sales operations. So it could be a marketing issue, but it's like the marketing ops and the sales ops. What does that mean? Well, I don't think you're going to go through that too much, but I think some of the clients are going through some of that. That's why I'm bringing that up, is you're getting these booked calls, but some of them are like, hey man, these people aren't showing up. Well, why would they? If your number one offer is just generic, and number two, you don't have enough like middle of the stuff material, right? Which is why somewhat personal brand, okay, like it helps. Those are the things that kind of help.
Yeah.
Right. But you don't need to go all out. You can make one video.
The best way, if you don't have a personal brand and you want to do middle of the funnel like things, assets, just call up your lead. Just call up your lead and just talk to them on the phone for 10 minutes. Be like, hey, I just want to have a quick conversation. Just set them. You're literally just, even if they're already on your calendar, just reset them back onto your calendar.
Exactly. And now you know that hopefully they show up, right? Because you do tie downs, and then we can go into the outbound process for how he's set. But that's the sales thing, right? Like your sales sheet. And then the same thing with fulfillment. Here's how many clients I got. Here's what the churn rate was. Here's how many are unresponsive. And then now if you're getting like 10 clients and then like 8 of them are unresponsive, well, it's like, man, there's a clear misalignment here. Or like they don't see the value, right? They truly don't. And then now you see like, what can you adjust to like, have them see the value? So
yeah, touching base with them, super important. I've realized, to get them to show up to the call. I had a question from a little prior that came to mind in terms of ads. We were talking about tracking everything, this and that. In terms of ad creative, what have you noticed is the best like ad creative that works? Should I be putting a qualifier in the beginning? Video ads, maybe versus picture ads? How often should I be changing out my ads? Do ads like die out? It's like so
very good question.
The creative part is
very good question. There's like multiple dimensions and multiple questions inside of that question, right?
Yeah.
But like, let's just look at Michael. Like I literally, what's interesting is I documented this whole thing, by the way. So he was here. We just documented the whole thing. It's
and
gonna come out.
That's what we're focusing on, more like documenting for our clients as well.
Because people say whatever, right? They're like, yeah, I did this, or like this client. Okay, it's like, let's take a client. But that's what we're doing with you as well. This stuff here, watch in a month what happens. And like, I just know if you implement. Now, if you're not going to implement, then like, and blame us for, I'm sure you're not. And if you choose to blame us, then it's like, come on, dude, we gave you everything, right? You just didn't implement it. But Michael did. And like with him, what we did was and this is the same thing we do with like all the clients, like, this is what we showcase. Like, this is what we teach is I just need booked calls, just the booked calls. So it's like no application, no nothing. And it goes against what we do right now. And yeah, there's different phases. There's a different part of our journey that we're at right now where we're able to like disqualify people. In the beginning, you can't do that because you're like, man, I need leads. I need booked calls. Demand. You need to generate demand. But when you're able to generate so much, where I'm telling you, abundance mindset is everything. There's unlimited people out there. Unlimited. It's like, it never ends, right? So it's like, your biggest thing is generating sales calls. That's it. So it's like a very like, with him, we just did a VSL, like the video ad, right? So his video ad was exactly what his offer is, direct. And then the ad copy, which is like literally we had the same template that we gave him from here, like what we give our clients here. I'll send that to you as well. It's a very aggressive approach of like, if you truly believe this is the best, like this is the number one done for you Airbnb model or whatever system that exists out there. And like you talk about case studies, you talk about living proof, social proof. If you don't have social proof, just talk about living proof. Talk about some of your credentials and all that. And you put that up there and now you start generating booked calls. Once you have booked calls, he started getting to a point where he's generating booked calls. He's like, okay, well, I can't take all these things. And some of these people, they're not the best quality. Perfect. Now we put up an application. So if people aren't going to fill out the application, perfect. I don't want them to book a call. I'm not here to hop on calls with people who are not serious about this. So now you add friction purposely. And now here's another thing. If you're getting people who are like not your target market, then you add in a qualifier. Hey, if this is not you, please leave the page immediately. So you're pushing people away. And what it does is Facebook is an algorithm, right? It fires off to the people that is sending, and it doesn't know who's who. And that's your job, right? Facebook is not made for our offers. It's not made for an agency offer. It's not made for your type of offer, our offer. It's made for e-commerce. It's made for, hey, this is a product that I have, right? for example, it's $20. Here's if someone can spend $2 and I can give back, like think of it from Mark Zuckerberg's perspective, right? So for a second, I'm Mark Zuckerberg. If this guy's product is $20, I can see that, right? Like I know what that is. And I know that if I can get this guy the cheapest cost that I possibly can on Facebook ads, and he can have the most profit, what is he going to do? Spend more money. I have a friend actually, literally yesterday I met him. I was hanging out at his house. He does $7 million a month in e-commerce. He did it in like 11 months. Facebook ads. I asked him, what's his traffic source? 90% is Facebook ads. But the way he runs Facebook ads, we were talking about it pretty in depth, is very different than how we run it. Because in our market, not all leads are created equal.
Yeah.
The 18-year-old kid who doesn't even have a job is very different than a 60-year-old man who's like a multimillionaire, for example. But Facebook doesn't know that. So Facebook's like, lead, same thing. It just categorizes them as one. So you need to take the power back into your hands and know who you're putting in through the funnel, because Facebook's an algorithm. It's just going to send you more and more people. So like, again, this is why like people are like, I got 2,000 leads. I'm like, CPA. What's your dollar in, dollar out?
Yeah.
That's it. Does that make sense?
Makes
So
sense.
you can force things by your messaging, by the audience selection. And then once you get big enough, you know your, for example, best type of clients, or if you don't have enough clients, your best type of leads, your best type of sales calls, you feed that data back into Facebook.
Lookalikes. That's what he's saying.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And then now you can force more people like that.
And you can do the opposite, right? So like people that maybe were not the right fit, you run a negative lookalike on them. So it's like you're telling Facebook that, hey man, don't send me these type of leads. Send me these type of leads where they were my clients. They closed, or they were really good fits. They were about to close, right? You want to have like at least 100, right?
100, exactly. 100 to build a list. You can have 100 to 300 typically is like what we've seen works best. And then you can layer, I mean, we can go further and further, man.
Some of our best ads are off of lookalikes.
Of course.
Really? Okay.
Because it's like, these are the booked calls we had. These were the best type of people that showed up.
And I would do that right now too, because you have you've closed people before, right?
You just do it with your follower list.
Yeah.
Well, actually, maybe I take that
people
back.
that were really good conversations, maybe they didn't close, but they were really close on closing, plus your clients.
So are you using a CRM?
No.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so that's one of my
Dude, you're here on the chopping block, man.
Yeah.
How are you tracking everything?
Google Sheet, basically.
Okay, that's at least better,
that's
right?
better.
It's not something that's like, it's just in my head.
Yeah.
Well, that's your pipeline. That's your sales pipeline.
Yeah.
And people take, what we've seen is for high ticket is like, it could be the buying cycles like anywhere from 7 to 21 days. So now the conversations you had 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, all the way to 20, 21 days, what happened to them? If you're booked out 5-6 days a week, or 5-6 slots a day, what happened to those guys? That's hundreds of thousands sitting in your pipeline. And no wonder these sales reps are like, I can't make money. Well, they don't keep it track. Or these business owners are like, they don't keep a track of that, right? So you need to put notes, you need to put tags, and we have a whole CRM training, of what we have. And again, guys, I know this is a lot.
I know, yeah.
Which is like what people see and they're like, can you just kind of do it for me? And this is why, like, the offer that we did, the $150K offer, it's literally like someone asked us for it. They were like, hey, I have this money. I don't want to do anything. Like, can you just run it for me and just sell it later? And we're like, So that was like interesting. The clients like started to like give us ideas of like coming up with our offers, and that's what's going to happen with you as well, right?
Yep.
When you start working with better and better people, like this guy, he was like, hey man, I just want to make like 500K. So we're like, okay, cool. We can like probably take 4 or 5. We can make it a 4 or 5x multiple and just combine a bunch of you people, and in about a year we'll just sell it. So he's like, all right, cool. And that was the conversation. Sales conversation was like very less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just had a sales call yesterday with a guy that just had more money than he knew what to do with, and he was just like, can you do it like all for me?
Exactly.
I just want to get a check from my Airbnbs. And I'm
Nice.
like, I don't have a system for that set up technically.
But you do that eventually.
Eventually.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's like
I'm
step by
glad you
step.
turned them away though.
Yeah.
You know, because you're like, can I help this guy? No, I can't. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna turn him away. That's good.
Yeah.
I respect that.
Yeah, but I think tracking, you can do it very simply in a Google Sheet. I think that's what we tell our clients. That we were running a lot of our financials off of a Google Sheet until we got to about 100K per month, and then we transitioned to QuickBooks. So like if we were doing that, we were doing okay. So, but yeah, I do think eventually transitioning into a CRM. There's a lot of options out there. I think we use Close right now, right?
Close CRM. I would
literally
actually
tapping that.
recommend GHL for him.
I would just recommend GHL. Absolutely. Easy.
Yeah.
Okay, again, we're in a different phase.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's like we're in a spot where we use different tools for every single thing. And then we even custom code it at this point.
Yeah.
Right. But like for you, it's like, just keep it simple, man. In the beginning, get to like 150K a month. And then you have enough money, you hire a tech guy, like, and we can talk about that if you want, of like the hiring process, like of what I would do, like, or what we would kind of do.
Yeah.
Okay. But you recommend GHL for like most of everything. I'm even thinking have my landing page like broke. So maybe have my landing page through GHL, the CRM through there.
Yeah.
Simplicity is king. So having everything in one place is ideal.
Simplicity skills, man. This stuff we're talking about, this is like 8-figure level.
Yeah.
And like, I think you can get to like 600
$500-600 grand.
600 grand a month with like what we're just taught, like
GHL.
just simple.
Yeah.
Like one funnel. So let's talk about the ads part. One funnel, couple ads, right? Your ads are going to kind of fatigue and die out. And what you do is you just have high rolls, for example. And high rolls just gives you, hey, this is how long it took this person to buy. This is how much they bought. This is the revenue. This is the cash. And then based on that, you're able to see, okay, cool, let me just put more money on this. Or if that stops working, then you create different variations of that or different angles. But I don't think you need that training right now for like the different ad angles and all that. That comes like when you're spending like a lot of money on ads. But like, man, if you're even spending like 100K a month, we took like I think we're like 2 ads.
Yeah.
To like 300K a month. So it's all you
Really?
need. Yeah. Exactly. It's super simple, man.
Yeah. I think
and it's like while you're sleeping, leads are coming in, booked calls are coming in, and you just have to take the calls.
He's talking about 2 winning ads.
Yeah.
We shot a lot that didn't work.
Okay.
So, but 2 winning.
Okay. I think it's just a lot of just multiple things. It's one, having something that's scalable, that from the beginning that we were talking about in terms of offer, just working harder and longer hours, and then just keeping it simple, and just honestly keeping it simple and having one offer scale.
Yeah. And like now, if we talk about the hard work part, I still work hard because we're building. But if I wanted to chill and just stabilize, like, dude, today, this is our first time working today.
Yeah.
The team just has it done. We did like 54K cash collected today so far. I think we might have done more while we're on this meeting. But the team's doing it. It's same systems. We don't hold anything back. It's the exact same stuff that got us to where we are.
Wow.
But it's because we have all the confidence that we need. We know what to do. Like and don't get me wrong, there's still times where we're like, don't know. But guess what? We're going to learn it. And that kind of goes into mindset as well, like how we think and how we operate. Your skills are everything, man.
Yeah. What are the biggest skills I should be, working at? And I don't know, what are the mindset shifts that I should be incorporating to?
As a CEO, number one is offer creation. In that, market research. I'm going to go through some of these things fast, so maybe the recording would be good, but like, I want to make sure it's powerful, right? Like, this is exactly what we did for ourselves. In offer creation is market research, understanding who your people are, right? Like hopping on calls, creating drive notes. And I'm a little obsessed over these things. So like, maybe that's why we have crazy results. Cause like, I put in a lot of effort, like on that domain, but you don't have dude, if you want to get to 100K a month, you don't have to do this stuff as in depth.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you from an 8-figure level, right? So based on that, I did market research. I'm like, cool. This is what I found. This is what's good. This is what I didn't know. This is what I'm better at. And just, crafted an offer that was based on my skill sets, my leverage, right? Once that offer was there, then I learned like how to write copy. How do I package that offer, man? Then you got to learn how to copyright. How do you put the least amount of words that has the maximum result, that is not too salesy, but it's just perfect. So like there's different skill sets within copywriting, right? There's different ads, like for ads, there's different skills. For landing pages, there's different skills. And then it's the VSL. It's like, all right, here's a video sales letter. Here's what someone's going to see. How do you write that? It's not about me. Everything is about the client. What do they need? That's all I care about.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the biggest mistake people make about their brand. Oh, this color has to be this perfect. My logo is like a little bit too big here. That's for you, man. That's for the client. Like, that's for you as an owner. The clients don't care. They really don't.
It's very transactional because it's business.
It's business, man. It's truly business. And we put our emotions behind that, and we shouldn't, right? And that only typically comes from experience, because we took us 4 months to pick our name. But from there, it's like, okay, the next skill set is, all right, I have the art side done. What is the science side? How do I read these numbers? Super simple. I could teach you in 10 minutes. Like, literally the same stuff that we were spending like 44K a day on is the same metrics that I would spend if I was to start another business at $50 a day. And anytime we launch a new offer, $50 a day. We do the same exact thing, right? We read the numbers. We're like, oh, perfect, cool. Spend more money or cut or whatever we want to do, right? So you learn the science of media buying, and then you learn a little bit of tech just a little bit. I'm not the most techie person whatsoever, but I learn at least how it works, right? If I have high roles, for example, I can read the data. I can I understand tech and then tech breaks and all that stuff. And then the next skill set is setting, right? And in setting, there's outbounds and then there's DM setting, right? For you, you should get really good at, again, you just want to be good at both. DM setting, because on Instagram, you DM set them just to make sure that, they're somewhat interested in what you have. They're not just here for the freebie stuff, right? You get a little pulse check on them to be able to see if you're going to get them on a call, because that call that you're taking is taking away from your capacity to have a call with someone else who's interested, right? Your attention, your time, resources, your energy is all finite. It's not unlimited. Right? So you gotta be like, hey, is this person worth a conversation? If they are, cool. Then you learn closing. You learn, and then in closing, there's multiple pieces, right? The psychology part. There's the script part. The script is very important, I think, in my opinion. Like how you set the frame of how you come onto the call. Like that's very important. That's super important, right? Of how you come in, and then from there, the type of questions you ask. In my opinion, you already closed the deal based on the questions you asked. You don't even have to go into the pitch.
Yeah.
Because the questions we ask, man, people start crying on these calls. No one has asked them these questions. So if they walk away, and that's why we're so confident, like if they just hop on a call with us, they're getting value. I know I gave someone value for free. And you know what? Maybe they'll give me prayers later on. Who knows? But I'm not doing it for them. I'm just doing it just to cool, right? So you learn that skill set of asking people really, really good questions. So that way, my intention is when someone hops on a call with me or any one of my boys or any one of the sales team people, they should think about how that call went at night. Of man, I've never been asked this question in my life. Why is this the way it is? Because most people, why are they coming to you? They have a gap. There's a problem that they have, and they want to get to the solution. And you are the bridge between that. So knowing what is the quickest, fastest, most efficient way to help them get there, if you're able to portray that, and if you're able to do that for them, they will love you, man. Right? So getting really good at closing. And then in closing, again, there's the follow-ups, there's the CRM stuff, there's the specific skill set of closing people, objection handling, and then there's a pitch part, how do you make the whole script, for example? How do you do the discovery? How do you set the frame? And then after that, the next skill set is onboarding. How do you get more client success? You want to take over from here? I'm talking all the time. My voice is going away. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think the biggest thing, man, on the back end, people forget about is make sure that clients retain. Because we've talked a lot today about how to bring money in, and I think that's a conversation that's even longer, dude. We can go on for another 2 hours on that, which is bringing in your ops partner and making sure that she can help you with not only making sure that clients are onboarding and they're getting everything that they need, which is typically the simple part, right? Making sure they get everything, but then make sure that they the client experience is super key, super important. I know we just hit on basically becoming a closer, giving them the best experience on the front end. It has to continue on the back end. We have to continue that same thing, which is actually why one of the things that we do is we hire past closers as CSMs, because they have that experience of doing that on calls, so they do that on the back end. You know what I mean? So one thing is client experience, client journey, and then making sure that they're constantly bought in, because it's ups and downs, especially with what you do, with what we do. It's ups and downs in entrepreneurship. So make sure that they're being led properly, with what they need to do and also what they're going through. Because I remember when the good thing is Zarar and I had each other when we first started, right? Yeah. And all three of us had each other. And so anytime that I was feeling something, I could tell him. But I understand that most people, they don't have that. You know what I mean? And so that's where we, kind of like Zarar says, he did so much research, and then we came together, all of us, on who is our ideal client persona, and then we crafted the offer to that, which just sounds like you're already doing it. But that's what we're asking you questions. For example, people don't seem to need 12 months with you. It seems like they only need 30 days or 90 days, maybe even 6 months. And so for us, one of the things that we noticed was, sure, we can give all of our clients, we could give you guys the curriculum and say good luck, but we don't do that because we understand that most of the time it's the implementation, right? And it's that support, it's the hand holding that they require, which is why we even brought in and designed the whole CSM role within our offer to make sure that they got exactly what they needed. Now, because we are giving them what they needed and we're leading them from where they are to where they want to get to, that leads to a lot more back-end upgrades, right? Because again, you're solving a problem, and as soon as you solve a problem, you're creating another one naturally. The same thing for you right now. We're helping you on how can you get more leads. You're going to get to a point where you have too many leads to handle. So that's a problem. It's a good problem for sure. But then what's the next step is hiring a setter. Well, how do you do that? You might come back and ask us, well, how do you guys hire a setter? You know what I mean? So same thing for us. That's kind of how that goes. Does that kind of answer the question?
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
And then the ops side too, when you start scaling, your operations, smooth operations is everything. like to make sure.
Thank you.
We have a whole team. We have 4 ladies who are like savages. They're just so quick and so fast, and they start to think for themselves, right? And again, like I think as a CEO, you need to start thinking from a perspective that in the beginning you're just delegating tasks, right? But then once you start getting to a point where you can't tell people what to do, you need to show them how you think. So you delegate your thoughts.
Yeah.
And they make the decisions. Like we just showed up to this call, we just clicked the Zoom and we're like, let's go. And I'm sure there's a whole team behind this. I don't even know what they're doing, but I'm sure there's a lot going on, you know, in a good way. But they're only able to do that if you properly train them and you properly able to give them the education that they need, because they haven't heard this stuff before, right? And they've never gone through these things. But you as a business owner, it's your responsibility, it's your job to do it.
Mm-hmm. I have a little bonus question, because I mean, I feel like I'm saturated with all of the things that I know I need to do, and I'm ready to just hit it and implement all of these things, and it's awesome. Bonus question, like cherry on top. Are you guys doing or implementing AI at all into your business?
Oh yeah, dude. We
And
have a whole
where?
R&D department. Maybe Christian can talk about that.
Yeah, I think there's some stuff that we haven't properly shared with our clients or even our team because we're testing it out first. But I will say, like, for example, dude, there's a level of like clients of giving them support to another level that we can't give them as human beings because we're limited, right? Like I said before, there's only so much that I can do in a day. So that's why we build teams, because then we can lead through them. But even through teams, there's only so much they can do. So AI is, even in the past, like this year, what we thought that was going to happen in 5 years has happened within months. You know what I mean? So it has to be implemented, I think, in every business model, especially you guys. And we'll be rolling out some more trainings on how we do certain things. But like, for example, within our curriculum, we have a version. So we have our own AI. His name is Zarshan. It's our 2 names put together. Essentially, it's built off the frameworks of ChatGPT. So it knows everything that ChatGPT does. And on top of that, we trained it to basically think like us. We trained it on their entire curriculum, all the worksheets, the videos. Like, it understands everything that we teach and we know. And I think that is also another level of support. You know, it's like an AI CSM, essentially. And then we also have AI on the back end as we're kind of rolling out with new delivery on fulfillment when it comes to like logos, websites, funnels, you know what I mean? We're also rolling out, by the way, for you guys, we're showing Zarshan, the AI, how to read numbers. So kind of what you were talking about, because there's a lot of clients here, right? And even if we were to do like a call here like this, where like, okay, everybody one by one, tell me your numbers. Instead, we're gonna have an AI that can do that. So you submit your numbers and it reads it. So like, there's a lot of AI that we're definitely implementing in so many different ways. We also have another version of AI, which the clients don't know about this because it's mostly internal, but it's another version of Zarshan. She's called Donna. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the TV show Suits. And so Harvey Specter has an assistant. Her name is Donna, and she's super good. She's like one of the best in the world. And so we're building her to be the Donna for all of our team. So like the CSMs, the ops team. So the CSMs, like, I just finished a call with the client. What do I do? Obviously, they should know what they should do, but the AI will tell them, even craft messages. I mean, it's pretty big that we're building here. And eventually, once we build that out, we'll roll that out to you guys, and we'll show you how to build that, because that could be your own version of an account manager as well. And hopefully eventually can be integrated into Slack and stuff like that. So then they can automatically send messages and stuff. I think there's a version maybe through Zapier, but
what software is that built on, that version, Zarshan? And
so that one we use Dante. Dante.ai or Dante?
Yeah, Dante AI.
Okay. Like creates like a version of yourself almost.
Yeah, you can. You customize it. You build the brain. So again,
you can even have it like speak from your own voice, like voice too. Yeah. Voice AI.
Yeah.
Dante.
And we did that. Okay, let's take a look why we even did that, right? Is we have CSMs Monday through Friday, but then we realized a lot of our clients have day jobs, 9 to 5 employees, and they're like, hey, Saturday, Sunday is a good day for me. And then we're like, we can't give them support on that, like to the level that, we want to get them to. So that's why that's how we fix that problem.
Yeah. I'll tell you, like, again, it all comes back to the offer, right? Which is why we spend so much time with you guys, and then we get questions like, why do I need to do the worksheets? It's to get to this point where you can then customize the offer and the journey itself to it. Like, for example, another thing that we did, which is an idea from the team actually, was to go into the curriculum and break down every module, how long it is, and then come up with customized game plans on like how much time you should be spending to get it done within the time that you're with us. You know what I mean? So, and then we feed Zarshan that, and we allow it to kind of, it's like a full circle thing. But I think that's why it's so important on understanding the offer in your client avatar, is because they're working on the weekends when our team is out, they can still get that level of support,
Yeah. And this is for more of our like clients on here. A service that's crushing that I've been seeing like sales reps just making a lot of money on is actually selling AI chatbots. That's been really, really good. And this is something that you guys can do as well, like kind of get onto the trend. But AI chatbots have been very, very good for us.
Yeah, I think there's a version of you can do that with Dante. Dante
Yeah.
does that. If you guys want to look at Dante.ai or just look up Dante, I'm sure it'll come up. It's a super simple. It's not that pricey. It depends on how many people are using it and how much data you're going through it, but it's a good start. We're starting to move into more complicated softwares now because of everything that we're doing. And then eventually we want to bring it in-house because I know we're using a lot of softwares, but we want to bring it in-house and build our own stuff. And like I said, if we can integrate it with everything, that's ideal.
What else you got for us?
I honestly, I feel like I've gotten a ton of value. I know what I need to do, just kind of need to do it, you know. Flip on the ads, just let things break, just go through it. I pull Erica in, you know, get results for clients and also, yeah, see how I can implement AI as much as possible to be able to kind of spread me that much further.
Right. The thing is, when you have a lot of things to do, which is kind of my thing, is because again, like for me, I've tried to take as much off the plate so these guys can focus on purely like money generating activities. So like on the ops, the accounting, the CSMs, it all comes down to like tracking and then again delegating like what are you most effective with. So again, for you, it's going to be generating demand and taking that demand and converting them into clients. So other than that, take it off your plate. You know what I mean? And then what that looks like, it's just like again finding what those things are, craft a role, and then hire somebody. So like again, we didn't hire like Jenny as our assistant. I came up with like what I needed her to do, and then that's the role, which we call the operations assistant, right? And then we have an operations generalist. But you, luckily, you have a partner with as a COO, and so you guys can just talk. It's like, here's what I need to focus on: demand, converting that demand, and then she focuses on everything else. And then from there, she'll figure out what to do. For me, that's where we got Jenny. Where we have 4 assistants now, it's taken years to get to that point. You know what I mean? Like we constructed that team. Everybody's incredible. We got somebody doing project management. Jenny does our client success support. It's incredible what we built out.
I think like I know we covered a lot, but you wanted it. You asked for like, hey, how do you get to 8 figures? Like, all right, we're not gonna hold anything back, right? But I think super key, eliminate a lot of the stuff we said right now. Some of this stuff may not be relevant to you right now, but keep it in the back of your head, right? Because again, you have to realize, and a lot of people watching this as well, especially if you have a day job, your time is finite. Like your time is limited. What is the quickest, most efficient thing? Like what is the most amount of value that you can put, the most amount of leverage you can have when you're in that situation, right? So everyone has a different situation. Like, you know, some people have jobs, some people don't, some people have 2 jobs. What can you do right now that's going to give you these results? Which just like Christian said, generate demand. You need demand. You need to roll that like leads. Okay, we're getting leads, booked calls. We're getting booked calls. No, we have a no-show issue. We get people to show up. All right, now we can't close. How do we close? So it's like one constraint at a time. Your business will always have constraints. It will never be in a place where it's perfect. But then you have good people who can handle some of those things, right? So just know of that, of like your highest leverage activity, what you can do, and just start cranking that thing from the top. The most amount of leverage you have is going to be the offer, then the marketing, right? Because think about it. It's the first thing. Then the marketing, setting, closing, like, and then just kind of like go through down the whole thing. And then once you get that system in, you're like, this is how it works. Now you plug the right people in, you hire leadership, ramping, that's a whole different skill set. And then you plug them into these specific pieces, and then that's how you scale.
Beautiful.
Yeah?
Yeah, beautiful.
All good?
I'm excited. Yeah, I'm excited to implement
awesome.
it.
Love it. Hope you got value, man.
Yeah.
I think there was a question about like if you have Go High Level, do you need to close? So the answer is no. Go High Level is our recommendation to you now because it's simple. Close is more of like a 7-8 figure level. Because again, you want to keep it. We had everything in sheets, very simple. But then we started to actually become departmental. Like we had departments. Marketing had to have their own software, high rows, and then sales had to have their own close. On the back end, we use Monday.com for like our back end CSM tracking. But yeah,
let's go through clients. Any questions? More than happy to answer whatever it is that you guys have. You guys can unmute and we'll take it from there.
Or maybe there are some in the chat.
Oh, there are. Huh?
Zarar, it's here.
Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
How you doing?
Good.
I'm doing Great watching you. I never stayed on a call this long. Whole time. This feels amazing. I loved every part of it.
And guys, this comes from someone, if you don't mind me sharing, he used to be a manager at Apple. So like, this is not some random, this is like someone very high up there, telling us this. So really appreciate the kind words.
It means a lot.
Means a lot.
I'm a new starter here. Obviously, I went through the onboarding process. I work closely. I call him a mentor, and it's been amazing. It's great to have somebody you can get in touch right away and answer some questions. And if onboarding is unpleasant, you kind of lose your faith in the process, and then it's so hard to damage control that trust that you lost in the process. So I think you guys are doing a great job of maintaining and preventing any sort of damage initially, which I love. And I congratulate you. You're doing amazing with your job. Looks like you have lots of leads coming in. You paused the process because you wanted to get some system in place. I'm hearing amazing insights here. Fantastic. I don't have any questions.
All right. Thank you very much.
I wanted to say you're on track, definitely.
Thank you.
No matter what stage your business is at, definitely you're going to find value in these conversations. And just one point, the AI is a game changer. If you're not utilizing, your process of progress is probably at a snail pace compared to how fast it can go when you use AI. And I have just started using it more often since I talked to Zarar and the rest of the crew. It's mind-boggling. It's like Donna, bro. It's like, Donna. Asking the question, the answers in multiple different ways. And then it's just like, it creates a filter. It gets to know you better. And then it has a background of all your questions. So where he's answering, he's like, as an entrepreneur who's interested in this and this, and they're like, holy cow, they kept all this information in the background. So the answer is totally customized. So if you're not on AI game, get on. Don't say, I don't know how to. Just ask ChatGPT how to. If you don't know how to, they have an answer for every question you have. Love being here. Thank you so much.
Likewise. Thank you. See you around.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Any questions? Anything else?
Zarar, can you hear me?
Yes.
This is Ryan. What's going on?
Good.
I
Good.
just wanted to echo.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to echo the sentiment from Fuad, 100%. I've been engaged the whole conversation. I've been writing down. My right hand hurts. So I should have just known you guys are recording this. It would have saved me some cramps. I had a quick question. It's more of like an intuition check. So as you know, I just started recently, did the onboarding. I'm about 3 weeks into the process. I just finished the market analysis, and I'm getting now caricatures of my positioning, my differentiation factors, and what my packages are going to look like. But as I'm listening to what you guys are saying, my intuition was spiking. It almost made me say, like, Ryan, why don't you just get the 5 to 10 leads that I know I can get, and then let the pressure of the clients, or at least what I can deduce from the conversations with the clients, structure the system for me? Because I'm an analytical guy, so I do get the paralysis by analysis a lot, right? Systems thinking. I'm an engineer, and it terrified me to ever have something going without a system in place. This is my job, right? But what I'm kind of gathering, or at least what my intuition is trying to say to me, is like, no, dude, get 5 clients, get the 20, 15, 30K a month, and see where where the gasket leak, rather than trying to design the perfect engine ahead of time and, postponing until things are perfect. Is that sort of right? Or like a balance between, like, you want a base system and then load it up with clients and pressure and see where the leak is, and this kind of goes to your, one constraint at a time?
100%.
Is that kind of right? Is my thinking right?
100%. It's like you're trying to go to the gym before you go to the gym, right? Like, I have to get this my bottle right, and like I have to
get the Lululemon.
Exactly. Yeah, the Lululemon.
Get all this stuff.
Exactly. And that typically comes from a place of fear, right? And that's like, again, we're all human
Yes.
beings, we all have emotions, but it's also a level of, if you're kind of starting off, you can be upfront and honest with your client, like, look, typically I charge XYZ, but because, I'm kind of like testing this new thing, I want to personally give you more support, and it's only going to be XYZ dollars, right? So it's like, if you charge 10K, it's like, oh, it's going to be 5 or 6, whatever that thing is for you. So now, like, if you do screw up, if you do drop the ball, the client knows that you're like, that you already told them about, and then you try to make it right. You still try to over deliver, like, even for like as simple as this, a structure and philosophy that we just have, as simple as Seb. I was only supposed to consult him first, but then I was like, let me bring my brother. Right. And then then when he submitted his questions to me, I was like, okay, this guy, like, he thinks well, and like, I want to go even above and beyond. So we got Christian in as well. Right. So it's like these small things where you just like do this enough, you just under promise and over deliver. So you can always, if you can mitigate that risk of like screwing up with something else, or giving them something else in return.
Yeah, and I think the way that we ran our agency too in the beginning was very similar to that. Even though we focus with e-commerce clients, and I think that's one thing we don't want you guys to take the wrong way is, even though you have your niche, you still want to work with clients if the opportunity presents itself, right? And you do have that sort of like base system, and then you customize it per client. Because at the end of the day, like, people want to make money. That's what these businesses are coming to you for. And so you have this base system. You have the account manager take really great notes. That's why the system is in tracking is really good, like we talked about. I know, like, HubSpot, Monday, they can be free when you have like one user, but as long as you take really good notes and you can customize the process, I think that you can bring on different types of clients, different types of niches. But your marketing, your offer, your messaging should focus ideally on one. Because if you're speaking to everybody, you're speaking to nobody, right?
Yeah.
But if they're speaking to you, take that conversation, right? Take the call. That's kind of my take. And actually, I think one step before that too is like a really good system that I've talked about in some of our masterminds back when I was on was you would reach out to your ideal client or ideal like clients and do like an interview as if it was a sales call, but then don't pitch them. Like, you just ask them questions and see, what are your pain points? What are you struggling with? What can I help you with? And you say, okay, perfect. This is really great. I'm going to take this back to my team, and we're just going to, gather results. Like, we're just doing market research. And then eventually you just come back to them and say, hey, I remember our conversation. I've got something that's exactly what you might need. Are you open to that? And there you go. You just got yourself some qualified leads that are more than likely you're going to close, because they know their problems. You know what I mean?
It makes sense. Yeah. So it's not binary like most things. Right, I want to think of things as black and white, but it's like, why let the fish go if you throw this line in, it bit the hook, it's on the ship, I'm not going to throw it back in, especially in the beginning. That's kind of where I think I'm at, is like, I need to get to the 30K a month to know when I could start throwing this fish off or keeping this fish in. So good advice.
Yeah, for sure. I think if you bring on those clients and you've got those questions, you just drop in the channel and you can tag me. I'll come in. I'll tell you how to systemize those things a little bit better as well, to make sure you're taking care of the clients. You don't have any leakage. There's always going to be something, right? Something's always going to be broken or something needs to be fixed. But at least we can set together some good stuff,
Well, appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Thank you for doing this.
For sure.
Hello, everyone. I'm Sebin. Thank you for all this information. I know that I have some questions, and thank they remind me to come here. Thank you, Zara, for everything.
Thank you.
And I work with the team. Before joining this program, I was about to launch my agency. I was building AI solution areas for CRM software. I built a voice agent to handle appointment and everything before joining this program. But I joined this program because I have a digital marketing background, and I have been running e-commerce since 2019. This just to tell Ryan, say, when you don't have any knowledge, you can start this program, you can launch your agency in 1 month and be successful. But you have some painful experience or spending on Google Ads, Facebook ads. You are afraid to launch in the wrong way because you know that you will end up feeding those companies. And I don't want to feed those companies. And that's why I keep working on my company. I keep working on my landing pages, keep tweaking the stuff, keep thinking more. Sometimes if you don't have some experience, you're going to be like a kid. So the best people are the kids. They are free of mind. They don't think about tomorrow. They think about today. And that's why they're joyful all the time. But when you think about the painful experience, how much you have spent, You don't want just to launch an ad like that. And that's why sometimes it takes 4 months, 5 months to someone because I want to have the lowest cost per acquisition. So I thank you for this program and I've learned a lot. I'm almost done. My CRM is ready, but I want to make sure that the team will review and say it's
Absolutely.
perfect.
Looking forward to it. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Thank you for the kind words. Thank you. Means a lot.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions? Yes, Bassam.
I just want to thank you guys for all what you do. It's a comfort to say that yes, expect mistakes. We're not perfect, no matter what you do. And this is very comfortable thought that it's keep us aggressive and keep us going as opposed to always have the perfection be the good.
100%.
Thank you for all.
Thank you very much for the kind words. And actually, this is something that I've been thinking about, right? Like I'm still in everyone's channel, like every single person. And I'm looking at some of the responses or some of the things that from the team I hop on every single daily client success meeting that we have as well. A big thing that I've seen, a big theme is like the mindset as well that it takes, and not some like weird, like, weird type of mindset, but like the real things of like, how do you handle a situation? Is that something that you guys are kind of interested in? Like, I'm more than happy to like uncover, because a big part of this is like uncovering yourself, like your own limiting beliefs, your own false perceptions of like taking that and how do you overcome that to the level that you need to think as a business owner. So if that's something of value that you guys feel like would be good, we can hop on again and we can like do another virtual event. I'm more than happy to do that for you guys and just like really go deep into that in that aspect. Because we do come from a third world country. Like we were not, like just in America the whole time. And like we had to work really, 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 really hard. So if we were able to do that, there's nothing special about us, nothing. But we just did some XYZ things that really helped us out. So if you guys are open to that, more than happy to share that with you guys.
Mindset is a thing. You just keep tweaking.
Absolutely. It never ends. We're always students. Yeah. Awesome.
Thank you.
All right. I think there's some questions in the chat as well, right?
Janice
Oh, right here. Okay. We'll just kind of like rapid fire through
No,
these.
do the one that had Janice pulled up.
Okay. So Janice asked, I love to see a phasing map concept stages of a business growth and running ads in your course. When to run ads versus cold calling versus focus on discovery, sales, calls versus messenger. When is creating a new Facebook business page a good strategy? Is this done so you can run ads with a new Facebook page? You want to take that?
Yeah, let me read the question again just so I understand.
Actually, Janice is still here. She can probably clarify the question for you too.
Yeah, can you clarify the question for me, Janice?
I think I was rambling while so much material was coming my way and they were just flashing out of my head. But I think the one out of the three that I post that would be interesting is I heard you mention about creating a new Facebook profile page and how that will really get a lot of traffic. And is that for the purpose of running ads?
No. So I think what Zarar was what he was saying was when with Facebook, they're a little bit bipolar. Sometimes they'll come in and they'll just like drop the hammer on you and they'll ban you. It happens. So it's always good to have multiple like pages ready to go. Sorry, was that what you were trying to say?
No, I think that was when they were talking about Seb's Instagram. And Zarar was saying like you could create a whole new profile and run ads to that and it will still work.
So it was just to show him like it's not as important, right? It helps, but it's really not. We started with like 2 likes.
Yeah.
And that took us some time to get, like, we didn't care about it. And like in hindsight, okay, we probably should have done a little bit better on that, but we just didn't. I mean, like we weren't like desperate or anything that we have to like put up this front and like, oh my God, we wanted people who thought like us. We wanted people who would like us. And if they hop on a sales call, they'll just see. And some people are like, hey, I don't want to work with you guys. No problem. Like we're not everyone's cup of tea and we're completely fine with that. You know what I mean? So that's the perspective.
Yeah. And then you want to clarify the other questions, Janice?
Yeah, I would like to add something to Janice. Janice, you can start do great posts on your Facebook, doing the post and look at the metrics. Organic post, just post, keep posting like this.
Yeah, you can just take the Facebook strategy that I have. It's in the I have a Sorry, I think there's a little bit of a lag here, but I've done a Facebook group model, right? So like we actually have our Facebook group right now as well. It has about 6,000, I think 900 people right now. We post almost every day. So that is like basically just like belief shifting, handling objections in advance, and like a little bit going into what it is and why is it important for you as a client to kind of like, for what that offer is. And what that really does for you is it helps with the sales process so that not only are you getting them to show up to the call, but you're also getting them to show up in the right frame of mind. Like, this is what it is. This is why it's important. And the how is basically what they're going to kind of pay you for, right? So Janice, I think that's really good for you. I think you're doing well, right? You've landed a couple of clients, right? How's that going for you? Congrats on that, by the way.
I do want to thank you. That call at the very last minute when you said, so how are your ads coming across? And then when I shared it with you and you suggested, I want you to ask for a 5K retainer, it worked. I mean, there was no hesitation. They said, yes, absolutely. So I don't think I would have asked if you hadn't suggested based on the results that they were getting.
Absolutely.
That I should be asking for more. So thank you very much.
Absolutely. It's really that simple, right? It's really not. And I think this is where I really want to touch on the mindset of what it takes to really be a bit like, be very successful. And Janice, you're absolutely correct. Like, just ask for it. Like, there's nothing else to it. You have to value yourself first. You have to be confident, right, in what you have. And up until like, you have to first convince yourself. You can't convince anyone else if you're not that person yourself, right? Congruency is everything. A big part of this theme of like how we treat our clients as well as how we treat our team members is they have to be that person themselves. They have to be that person that other people look up to. And I only expect the best version of themselves. I will not talk to their lowest version. I'm just really not. And I'm just very upfront with that, right? And that's the conversation we had. You emulated it. You did it. I didn't, right? I just like you just uncovered it within yourself. And now, boom, 5K. Now in the next call you have, the confidence meter, it's just going to go up, right? So congrats on that. Did you have another question or was that kind of handled?
Yes, I think what I was thinking was more on the course level. Like maybe some people would need to see some kind of a baby map concept. So like if you're at this stage, early stage of your business, these are some things that you may want to look at doing. And then if you're at this mid-level stage, this type of activity, because I think when you're first starting out and you don't really know a whole lot about marketing, they're going to think they have to do all of the above. So if it's put in chunks of phases, maybe that would be.
I think it is. You can ask your CSM. Yeah, you can ask your CSM on it. I think it is. I mean, it's super simple, right? Niche first. Offer. The moment that's locked in, you just pick up the phone and like you dial up the people that you know, referrals. The reason why the sales thing is so hard is trust, but people already know who you are. And I'm sure you guys all have people. You just have to sit down and do this exercise. Just write down a list of 10 people that you know who could be good clients. And if you don't, you still write down a list of 10 and you ask them, do you know any business owner? It could be like a car mechanic. It could be a restaurant owner. We all know these people, right? And every business needs marketing.
Yeah. And then one other thing right here, if you guys write that list down, and you guys need help with reaching out to them, shoot me a message on Slack or actually tag me in your Slack channel. I'll help you like manually create a script to go after these people and like help you like formulate that structure so we can get them through like how to structure the conversation all the way, how to close, how to collect the payment and how to onboard them. And this could be just like your personal network. So you're not coming off as like a creep. You're actually trying to help their business. But yeah, that's you guys, my DMs are open for that.
Yeah, I just hit up Mo. He's in setting, closing, anything sales, even marketing related. He's your guy. He'll help you guys out.
Thank you.
Awesome. And then let's see. Do we have like a list of questions or Colin says your video looks great. What camera are you using? What camera are we using? We have a videographer here, so his like studio.
It's a Sony FX3.
Sony FX3. We have two of them. Awesome. Cool. Anything else we can help with?
Yeah, there's a last question about, I have a question about budgeting prior to launch with critical needed systems for deliverables.
Budget, who wrote that?
Albert Tate.
Albert Tate, you have a question in regards to budgeting?
Yes, sir. So I've listened to a couple of your classes, and you mentioned that y'all struggled a lot going through the ins and outs. So before launch, I'm having difficulty budgeting, Are there any, how did y'all handle critical needed systems like apps and stuff for deliverables? I mean, once we get the client, we don't want to be going frantic trying to figure out how we can pay for this system that we need to deliver.
You want to take that? I mean,
So you're talking about like kind of knowing what your costs are going to be before you bring a client on.
No, not so much. More so on that, I'm foregoing what I really need to deliver, so I can pay my employee prior to launch. And if we do secure a client, which is in my niche is local practitioners, we'll need those things like HIPAA compliance, like compliancy group, in order to prove that we are experts in keeping patient health information secure. And so these critical needed systems I'm foregoing right now, how did y'all handle those types of situations?
It's a good question.
Or did y'all experience that?
I mean, I don't think we experienced that. I have to go and talk to some of our media buyers about that one. Because we didn't really focus on that niche in particular. I think what you're describing, where HIPAA needs to be involved. But I can probably get you a more customized, more personalized answer when I speak to the media buyers, I think.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
All right. Good stuff. Any other questions?
Yeah, I can say that particularly to that healthcare niche, they have some paid program to be compliant, and when you onboard them in the software, the CRM software like Go High Level, like I'm using to build our platform, the Go High Level already have a process in place to be compliant, but the person need to pay some extra fee.
Okay.
And if they use Go High Level, then we have the system already building the process in place, but they can pay extra fee to be compliant.
All right, that sounds good. Yeah, I think Albert, you can probably look into that with Go High Level. In the meantime, like I said, I'll get you an answer too. See where I can go.
awesome. All right.
Thank y'all, brother.
Let's do last question, and we'll call it a day. It's been 2.5 hours.
Zarar, Christian Mo, it's been a while. How you guys been?
Good. How are you?
Doing good. Yeah, I just wanted to, well, first of all, say thank you. Just like, I think everybody on the call has like collectively just come together and just had a shared appreciation for everything that we're doing. Like, this is a beautiful system, a beautiful community. And I know we're doing great things and we're going to continue to do great things. So I just wanted to, first of all, say that. Second of all, I think Mo said something about sales. Like that's like his mode of expertise. I would love to learn just as much as I can with that. And I think third of all, because right now, I'm in the phase of running ads right now. We're both, we're running ads for Facebook and just getting our offer and getting the business out there. And then with that, once those leads sign up, it's a matter of closing them. So of course, that's where sales is a huge skill that's required to really make that aspect of the business as effective as possible. So in terms of that, which, I'd say, what's the best mode of tackling that area of the business? Because I know for me, selling is something that I'm familiar with, but it's something that everyone has to get used to. There's a ton of nerves and you can kind of overthink things at times, but it's just a matter of getting used to it and getting more comfortable. What would you say is like the best course of getting more comfortable in that position?
Yeah, I think that's a broad question. What we can do is, first of all, I'm going to answer your question in 3 different parts, right? The first thing is that, like, what I would want you to do, and this is for everyone, like I'm doing this one-time offer for anyone. If you have any questions, any concerns, you can just drop in the Slack channel and we'll jump on a one-on-one or either like a huddle and I'll like help you guys through that process, whatever you guys have, like those roadblocks. That's the first thing, right? The second thing, Daniel, for you, like, what I would want to do is let's have that call where it's just me and you, and we break down your funnel, and I see like exactly all the metrics that are going on. Like, here's how many leads are coming in. Here's how many people are booking in. Here's how many people are actually showing up to the call. Why aren't they showing up to the call? Why is the no-show rate like this? And when they do show up to the call, have they done some research on you? Do they know who you are? When they actually show up to that call, are they in a pocket of closing, or they're just completely cold? Like, where are they at, right? Is it a sales issue? Is it a marketing issue? Let's have a call. And again, this is for anyone who wants a call with me. I'm more than happy to do that for free. Second thing, to become comfortable, you're not going to like this answer, but you just need reps. You just need to like just talk to more and more and more people. I started selling when I was 11 years old. Like, people could hear me and they'd be like, oh, this guy has no testosterone in his voice. Like, completely opposite of you. Like, Daniel, your voice is like so like deep, dude. It was completely opposite, right? So it's like, it was harder for me in the beginning, but it was just reps again and again and again and again. And I got comfortable with like what I was selling. And the biggest thing is just conviction, right? Like, if you truly believe your offer will crush for that specific person, the people will hear it in your voice. I think that's the number one thing. So like, just ask yourself, like, is this thing, like when I'm selling this person, is it actually gonna help them? If it is, dude, they'll be able to hear it in your voice. But to sum it up again, dude, reps, and just book in a call with me, drop in your Slack channel, and then I'll send you my link. We'll jump on a call and go from there. Cool?
I could lend some.
Absolutely. That sounds fantastic.
Sure, I could lend some. I don't know, advice from my perspective in terms of. I mean, even though I'm just now jumping into this internet space and selling online, and I've jumped on, God, it feels like a million sales calls at this point. I've also negotiated like 35 plus homes where I have got $20,000 off a home, $15,000, like a lot. I've negotiated many more homes. So what I will say, kind of segueing what Mo said, is you don't have to believe, like, people don't have to believe what you're saying. You have to believe you believe what you're saying.
Yep.
Right. So if you speak with conviction, if you believe what you're selling really will change them, it also can help you push when you don't want to push. And what I mean by that is sometimes you get on a call when somebody is like trying to get the close, you can feel that they want either the money or they want to close you for that reason. But you're able to push when you're like, no, I can really help this person, or I can really help this person. So you're willing to go that much further to be like, you're doing them a disservice by letting them leave the call by not closing them. Right. So that's how I've always felt, even with on the home side of things, and how I can help landlords and this and that. So that one. And then two, it's asking a lot of questions beforehand to really understand this person or whoever you're dealing with, to be able to understand what is it that they're most struggling with, and what do they want, right? What are they struggling with? What do they want? And then you tie those together and you frame your pitch, you frame your offer around those things if you genuinely think you can help them, right? You know.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
All right.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that a ton. And it's been a fantastic journey. Most people already know the whole story with Zarar and it's just been a huge journey, and I've loved every step of it. And goalpost hasn't changed, like, no matter what. Like, I am here to be totally transparent. I am here for the sake of my family. Like, I want to make sure that they're taken care of, and that's not a possibility if you yourself don't care about others.
Yeah.
Because when you care about others and you care about your clients, you care about those who you know you can add value to, that's when your value becomes the most that it can be. You can't take and never give.
Absolutely.
Like, when you give the most, like, that's when you yourself, you get fed, when you make sure that everyone else is fed as well. So I love this. I love this meeting, and I can't wait to talk with Mo in a little bit, and to keep on with this journey.
Absolutely. You can't pour from an empty cup, right? You have to have the skill sets. You have to have the things that you need, so that way you can help other people. So awesome, guys. Well,
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for jumping on. It's been like 2.5 hours. We loved every single second of it. And we can look into like the mindset side of things. I think that's super, super key, because every single person here is unique in their own way, which is why you're here as a client. We don't just bring any random person in, like, literally. It's because you bring something from like your own personal previous experiences over here, right? So how do we uncover some of those things? How do we like tap into the superpower that, you know, God has given us in our brains and who we are? But sometimes we're kind of like our own worst enemy because we're not willing and able to unleash that we need to kind of do, right? So that'll kind of like be the theme probably of the next session that we do, of the next virtual event that we do. But yeah, super nice chatting with you guys all, and hope you guys have a good day. Take care.